time it didn't require
Yeah,
a
last time it didn't
session.
work.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, it's working. Knock yourself out.
Okay, let's see. The virtues split up, and Declan heading to the Mirage to go over the papers he found in the preacher's chapel, while Abrashmina, Bryn, and Makut go to the market and to the library. They send a runner to Shal Ab Ajana's about meeting with him to arrange the event with Kind Larden's pot hydra. At the bazaar, there's some purchases were made to prepare us for the desert. Some gems of crystals of bounty, and some little boxes that create ice. Bryn also found a merchant that sells enchanted arms and armor, and managed to procure herself a chain shirt that is shockingly light. Ambrashmina was intrigued by the man's work and commissions him to make her a breastplate of similar quality, paying him 200 gold deposit for him to make it within 2 weeks. At the Mirage, Declan learns that there are no other chapters of the Lashed in operation. No major players are unaccounted for, but he does uncover that Salman al Iman and Isa El Radwan are missing. There's no mention of Gizma in the paperwork. The most interesting bit of information that he has not shared with the group yet is that there appears to be a large sum of money that is moving in and out of something called the Trove, which he discovers is a ship that is permanently dry docked, called the Helmsman Trove. After his research is done, he decides to go out and try to make more contacts for his network, heading first to the Scum Weasel to suss out the bartender there, and he discovers the place has been deliberately cleaned out and that there are no signs of the bartender and that it looks like the foul play had occurred. At the library, Nambrashmila manages to borrow the book about Vale and also discovers an account from someone that had met the Monk of the Wastes. He is the eldest of his elven line and has lived well past the rest of his family. When asked why he's left the city, he said that it was to maintain the purity of his mind away from the influence of Ashar. She also reads about the murder of the cleric Mitha. She rose as a revenant and slew the people responsible for her death, but was unable to prevent the desecrations of Vale's temples. Wooden coins were stolen, art pieces, gold, corpses all defiled, as well as icons and iconography removed and destroyed. Um, and then they found out that there are lots of wyverns in the Zargos Mountains, a little bit about the Minotaur clan, and that the fields of glass are massive, and it's generally not recommended to rest while traveling through them because you're resting on broken glass. No one has been to the peak of Zarduk, which is the biggest mountain in the Zargos range. Brain discovers a couple of folk stories, one talking about a sleeping plague that's swept through Ashara via rats. And Makud learns from a librarian that the area of the desert where the Minotaur said the spurned was going is an old place where temples to the old spirits used to be. He calls it a place of power and feels that it is not a good sign. Um, during which Declan breaks into Gizma's old apartment and finds that the dockmaster seemed to have fallen into a paranoid craze and has run away somewhere in the city. Um, da, 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 da. He decides to skip the dinner that we had planned to go find some dock workers to question, finding an old looking soldier type named Hanan al Sise, corners him and interrogates him. The older man alludes to having an employer already and admits that while he is willing to give Declan some information for a price, he refuses to give up his own employer. He tells Declan that Kizma tried to book passage on a ship and got the shit kicked out of him, and he thinks that the man is hiding out somewhere in the city. After the massacre at the Scum Weasel, Hanan confesses that his mysterious employer hired him and a few others to clean out the bar and dump the bodies in the water. They had been dead for some time before they were hiring because they had smelled awful. Dinner is a lovely affair, though Declan's presence is missed. Um, there was some stuff. Abrashmina awkwardly realizing that Eli was invited and probably didn't attend because of how she had behaved that morning. Bryn and Madar share a quiet conversation, where the bard asks the former apostle to watch over Holly and Kaya while they're out in the desert, and they kind of share a cute little chaste kiss. It is all sweet and blah blah blah. Makud is the life of the party as always, holding court and engaging everyone in conversations, sharing a nice conversation with Ethan about fighting in the Bakar and the simplicity of life and not making things too complicated. Bryn and Makud are up drinking after when Declan finally returns. He shares what he learned about the scum weasel and Kisma with the others. Bryn does not bat an eye about the deaths at the men at the scum weasel, but she seems rightly concerned about the mysterious figure that cleaned up their bodies while they were out in the desert. Declan asks for her help in questioning the others the way she'd helped with Jura, and she agrees. And at breakfast the next day, Declan and Makud work on his book, The Wonderful Land of Ashar by Makud and Declan. And after eating, we go to Shal Abajanas to arrange their fight in the Bakar. In exchange for 7% and no slave fights in the event, we will fight Kainlarden's monster and agree to fight another as Amar Utu and the Virtues. And we are still there.
Yes.
Because we were going to ask him questions that we had forgotten about last time.
Real quick, and you can tell me if you want to do this later, Rob.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to request, and you can tell me if this is unreasonable, a retroactive insight check against Bryn. I think it's reasonable to assume that even if she doesn't tell an outright lie, that given his speciality as a character in reading people and noticing, physical tells, that he would be able to pick that up, or at least be able to attempt.
So I will say, because you're not actively trying to read her, maybe a passive insight is more reasonable. But again,
against her active deception? Or?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
What's your passive insight?
It would be a 19.
Okay. That's your DC, Jade.
That is a 13.
Okay. So I will say, you maybe noticed something off, but that's about it.
I probably did not jump right to, aha, Bryn is the murderer. But
yeah.
Definitely, I imagine, because I feel like, I don't know how much of this is me with my awareness of the metagame, right? But I imagine there's a slim window where that guy could have died, right? And even though Bryn successfully stealthed away from me, that doesn't mean Declan didn't know she was missing for a period of time.
Yeah. I don't think Declan yet has enough information to be able to put the entire thing together, but there's that seed maybe.
Within the context of that conversation, it probably, any kind of that was an odd reaction from her, I would think, based off of Declan's lack of knowledge of the situation, that he probably would have attributed to, and correct me if I'm speaking for your character, he probably could have attributed it to that her finding out that there's some other mysterious figure that's possibly working against them, in the context of that scene. But I'm saying, in future conversations, he will remember. He will get context for that and remember that Bryn had lied to him.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
I think it's something that he's not necessarily this is something I have to act on right now. But if more information comes out, then that might be a factor.
I think he probably got the sense that Bryn might have been keeping something from him, but he probably would not assume that she, murdered him.
It was you, Colonel Mustard.
Right. No, I'm not trying to jump right to the revelation, but Jade's last words on the subject, not to call you out, Jade, but was, she's toying with him, and I think given that Declan is who Declan is, he would realize that, especially if she failed that check, that he's being played with a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
All right. Well, so what? So we'll say Shab or Shal Ab Ajana has just gone out to fetch more, or find a servant to fetch more wine. And as he is, you have a few moments to yourselves to discuss what you would like to discuss with the Shal.
Yes, there was something else that we wish to discuss, Shal Al Ab Ajana, with in regards to I realize that some of these shawls will be in attendance to this grand reopening. Yes.
Are you asking him?
Yes, that is why I said shawl and all. I mean,
I had just said that he'd left so that you had a moment, but sure.
Oh, I see. That was me misunderstanding. That it sounded like we have a moment to ask him what is going on, not a
No,
moment
sure,
to
you can have a
discuss with
moment.
each
I
other.
just figured you might want to ask him something.
Yeah, never mind, because I
You might
totally
want to
boffed
discuss it
what
first.
I was gonna say. That so.
Okay, so do you want him there or not?
I don't know. Do we need to talk to each other about it?
I mean, I don't think you brought it up to the others, but I don't have a problem with you going and directly talking to him about it.
No, I thought we had discussed it, but okay.
About specifically asking him, does he have connections to shells that have people? We have discussed it out of the game, but I'm not sure it's been brought up particularly heavily that you wanted to ask him about connections to other shells who have slaves that look like or do not look like Avella.
Well, then I do that.
Great.
As Abarashmina is thinking of it.
Okay. So if you ask him when he returns, and you maybe describe Abella.
Well, like, does Makud or anybody else have anything to say about that?
Beyond Makud getting a little grumpier or something, with just painful memories. Not really. Doesn't really have a disagreement with it.
Okay. So the
Shal. So whenever Shal Abajana comes back, Abarashmina will say that I know that you have dealt with many of the Shals in the past, and there is a woman that used to come to my temple that I wish to get in contact with again. And last I had heard, she was working for one of the Shals in the city, and I was wondering if perhaps you might know of her. She's a very distinctive woman.
How
and
so?
Abrashmina will describe.
Yeah. So he sort of scratches his chin, has a sip of his wine. I am afraid to say I have not heard of such a woman, but I tend not to discuss matters of household with my friends. We have generally other topics of discussion, but
Can I insight check him?
Yeah.
Yep, same.
It's 25.
That is not as high as what I will roll. Mine was 20.
Neither of you think he's lying, but you also get the impression that he's getting bored of this conversation and sort of itching to get on with his work, so might be trying to kind of push it along a bit more. And he just says, "Yes, well, I'm afraid not. I don't really know of anyone like that. I'll keep an eye out if you like."
If you please, I'm afraid we fell out of touch whenever I left the temple, and it is something I wish to rectify.
Of course. Now,
And Declan will sort of stand to get ready to go, but like before he does, just say, "We would all be in your debt if you would assist Abrashmina with this," sort of suggestively.
Yes, of course. You're my friends. I have no problems helping you where I can. I will ask around maybe, but Unless there is anything else, we have much work to do. I cannot wait for this event.
Of course.
We
We
will
look
not
forward
be back anymore.
No, of course not. That's all right. We look forward to shared profit.
Indeed. He sort of like jovially kind of shows you out. It's around, I think, mid-afternoon by the time you get outside. And it's very, very hot today. Like, the sun is mercilessly beating down, no clouds.
We came here right after breakfast, though, yes?
The last thing I've got is us talking to him at around 10ish.
Yeah.
Okay, so early afternoon then.
But yeah, it probably took a little while to talk to him.
Yeah,
We lunched with him.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he doesn't
That was
really do
wine.
very many things quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we'll say yeah around noon, probably. Had a nice brunch.
and as Abarashmina is having like these kinds of thoughts about shawls, I had asked if I could have a roll about her Abarashmina's past dealings with some of these shawls and wealthy merchants and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
He said I could have a roll if I could maybe have a possibility of someone that she's heard of
Okay.
during her dealings. What kind of roll did you want?
L'histoire. Yeah,
Was it history?
history.
14.
None of the shards that you've come into contact with strike you as the kind to value a slave such as Abella, and no one particularly springs to mind of mentioning anything like that.
Okay. And so, in her experience, she hasn't heard of anyone having any dealings with Turian.
No, not really.
Okay.
He's very much a recluse.
Yeah, that is why I was hoping it would be like distinct that a shawl having dealings with an elf. But okay, I tried.
So, what would you all like to do? I believe you've got like a week until the fight.
It's,
Is it that long? I guess we could go around being bored for a week. Was it really a week? Oh.
I'm not sure. It might be less.
I don't
some
know.
other things.
Oh.
I'm having.
Someone's having connectivity problems? Is it me?
Yeah, I
No, I
am
think
having
it's-
trouble hearing C and Dan as well. But I'm not having trouble hearing
Really?
Dylan.
I sound okay?
Yeah, you sound fine. Jade, do you want to pipe up? See if we can hear you.
No, you roboted a little bit there. You got a little tinny for me.
Yeah. I can hear Jade perfectly, but everybody else is a little,
Hey, it's probably me.
That sounded fine, but
No one is talking to me now. Okay, cool.
Okay, well, you're
We can
sounding
hear you.
okay for me, see?
Okay. Okay. Well, no one was saying that I sounded
Sorry.
okay, so everyone's
Everybody
ignoring me.
ignores C, so she thinks that her Wi-Fi is broken. So I think Declan is going to try to work on. He wants to develop some kind of alchemical defense against whatever mind control the crazy guy in the Bakar was using. Did we have a name or a moniker for him?
The Minotaurs called him the Spurned.
Belshuk or something. The spurned.
The Spurn. Yeah, he would probably poll the group and just say, well, as you know, I have a great deal of things to attend to. Is there anything else that any of you require from me?
Well, we're going to take this book to the Bell Witch, Mitha. And then don't know if there's anything else we need to. I would like to try to find Abella before we leave for the desert. I do not like leaving this kind of loose end behind us if we're
No, I
going
agree.
to 2 months. Is that anything you can do? You said you are building a network. Have you asked about Abella to any of them?
Not yet. It's still in progress. My plan is to spend the day working in the workshop to attempt to create some sort of defense against the Spurn's mind control, if I can, and then spend the evening asking about Abella.
Can I just remind you that Rob reminded you last session that your dead drop is probably worth visiting
Yeah,
with
totally.
that guy. Cool.
Thank you.
You've got
No
mail.
problem.
He
Exactly.
did. He doesn't want us to know about his dead drop, though.
No, but he forgot to visit it last time, and it's been a
Well, it
little
was
while.
it was
So
supposed to be by the end of the week, right? I didn't realize a week had passed yet since I talked to that guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just
Fair
brought
enough.
up.
Yeah. No, it's on my mind. Thank you, though. So that's what Declan's plan is, and he'll just say before he departs. And then perhaps this evening, before I go out on patrol, we could have a brief meeting of the minds. There's a few choice details that I'd like to share with the entirety of you. Perhaps over dinner.
Seems like an excellent idea.
Wonderful. Well, good luck with the Bell Witch. Give her my regards.
Okay.
So is everyone except Declan heading to the Bell Witch?
Sure.
I think so.
Very well. So you ascend the stairs and find your way up to that somehow chilly room at the top of the tower, and the Bell Witch rears up before you, all skeletal and veiled. Still terrifying, even though you've seen her several times now. You never quite get used to it. And she sort of like whispers, "You have brought my book."
Yes, we have brought you the book. Abarashmina will hand it to her with the page about her bookmarked.
She takes it and sort of like leans very close to the words. "I would like to study this. I would like to know more."
We may have it for a week before it has to be returned to the library.
Very well.
Does she
That is
have like
agreed.
any kind of reaction to reading a passage about herself?
She hasn't really properly read it yet. She's sort of... She doesn't want to read it while you guys are watching, but she's kind of glanced and seen her own name, and you can see that she's like very anxious to see what it says.
Is there anything else you require?
Nothing for now. I am grateful.
Does that seem genuine, or do we think like she's gonna kind of destroy the book or anything like that?
Inside check?
20.
You feel she's genuinely curious about reading it, and that she wants to sort of rediscover her religion and what facts may have been uncovered and how it's perceived by modern writers. But yeah, you don't think there's anything untoward to do
Okay.
with the book.
Okay.
Anything else, or are you guys heading off?
I would like to go to the butcher's shop. Abrashmina will like let everyone know that as Makut is placing the stone back to block the staircase.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone wish to come with me? You do not have to accompany me.
Why do you want to go there?
I would like to speak to Sharat, and I also need to speak to Eli.
He kind of like looks to Bryn. Like there's been a lot of talking today. He kind of leans up against the stone. It's like he's like just like waiting for Bryn if Bryn is gonna like throw in a bet And if there is none forthcoming, then he'll resign himself to following around more people with more talking.
You do
mean,
not need to accompany me, Makut. I will be safe if you do not wish to come.
if what you want to talk to Sharat about, is something you're going to share with the group, you know, later, it might be good for us to hear it firsthand. But the whole maybe like some privacy for the other.
Uh, yes, most definitely. She kind of
And
blushes a little bit. But no, the business with Sharat should maybe be private as well. So
as you wish.
we'll see you all later at the Mirage.
Come on, Makud. We have a fight to get ready for. I'm gonna get rusty hanging around.
He like bounces up a little bit and like rolls the shoulder and is like, "That is more like it.
So
Look after yourself, little Mina." And he's like rolling his shoulders out as he like leaves this ruined temple, just walking off into the city.
I'm gonna regret
I will be
this.
all right. Abrishmina is going to thaumaturgy so that her eyes look normal and put up
Okey-dokey.
the veil so she's not quite as recognizable. And she makes her way alone.
So we'll quickly resolve Declan's things, while he's in the workshop at least. So what is it you'd like to do? Some mind control defense.
Sorry, yes. I would like to, if I can. I imagine DC, since I don't have a whole lot of information about the problem I'm trying to solve is going to be pretty high. But he doesn't know enough about the subtlety of magic yet, I assume, to know the different kinds of magic or how they affect the mind or things like that. But
Definitely.
he's trying to build just a basic buffer using Eli's blood samples. How do you, the word he's using to describe magical substance is mana. So how do you keep mana from interacting with the physical? So he's trying to develop some kind of alchemical compound that, once in the bloodstream, will give you some kind of resistance. Mechanically, I'm trying to make, advantage on saving throws against charm.
Yeah. So
This is me as a player, Declan. You need some Aldoc leaves, maybe.
I do have some Aldoc leaves.
You do. You might need more.
That's.
For sure. I'll try Aldoc leaves and see if that's effective.
Aldoc leaves is definitely not a great idea.
Yeah,
they stop you being able to cast magic, but that's how doing heroin stops you being able to do your taxes. It's
it does have. So it's not something that suppresses the magic physically. Then it is.
No,
just something that makes you too dumb to cast spells?
Aldoc leaves are Lament's heroin. It just destroys everything in your mind, and it makes nothing matter, and you can barely function.
It will work because if someone tries to control an Aldoc leaf addicted person,
it would be like trying to control a puppet with cut strings.
Yeah.
But anyway, so just make some alchemy checks to develop something.
Yeah, so I mean,
get closer to the end goal.
Yeah, this is going to be something that's going to take a lot of research, right? Because you're coming from a zero background of magic. So you can definitely make a start on that stuff. I don't think, I think after a few days, maybe we can start doing rolls for this kind of stuff. So, but I think...
Yeah.
I think because, you have Declan so far from his backstory and whatever has very little understanding of how mind control actually works from a magical perspective. And so it's you got to get the foundations in. But we can definitely start those.
Yeah, so he's probably going to spend all his mornings, unless there's something that he's needed for, he's going to spend all of his mornings in the lab working on this. And then once he any kind of hits a roadblock, he'll probably go to Alluri and ask for her input.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's what he'll be doing today until dinner time.
Okay, so I'll say this: if you do that every day for 3 or 4 days with Alluri's help, you can make me an Arcana check.
Okay.
You can do that now if you like, or save it for later.
Sure.
Up to you.
Can I do an alchemical check since I technically don't?
Oh
have that
yeah, sure.
Okay. It's a 12 on the die. I think that's an intelligence tool plus proficiency is 17.
17. Okay. So you are able, from the sample of Eli's blood and some other things and some research, you are able to make a proprietary solution that you think, once consumed, will give you advantage on wisdom
Sweet.
saving throws against mind control.
Very cool. All right,
Nah.
and I'll have that at the end of the week or something.
Yes. So I'll say 4 days.
Sounds good.
Now, as Makud and Bryn beat lumps out of each other and drink booze, we have some awkward conversations to attend to.
That's
So,
not why you think they will be awkward.
Avrishmina, you arrive at the butcher shop to find it quite busy. Actually, it's there's lots of people sitting in, having some breakfast whiskey or lunch whiskey or a meal or two. All the booths are filled except one, in which you can see Eli lying face down asleep, and a table cluttered with bottles and cups. You can see Sharat's door is slightly open, and he's like sitting at his desk, kind of leaning over some papers. But he doesn't look particularly intensely busy.
I will go speak to Sharat first.
Very well. He'll sort of look up as you enter and break into a smile, kind of lean back in his chair. Ah, Abrishmina, it's good to see you.
It's good to see you as well. I trust you've gotten some rest since the last time we spoke.
Yes, a little bit, definitely. I'm feeling a bit more sprightly.
It is good. I had some things that I wish to discuss with you in regards to our friend Makut and his missing friend Abella.
Of course, anything.
As I am not sure exactly how much you may know about me and my past with the temple, but during my experiences there were some things I learned about individuals in this city that, if you remember, was why I was originally reticent about working with you.
Of course.
Well, I would like Makut's friend found, and from what I remember of what I know, I do not think that what I know will help him, but I thought maybe it could help you find leverage somewhere else so that you may help find her.
I must say, you've piqued my curiosity. Exactly what is it you would like to disclose?
Well, because some of the things that I have learned, only I would know because of the situations that I learned them in. If I tell you these things, I must have your guarantee that you will not act on any of them until you are able to verify their source some other way, so that if it were to have to be used, I will not be implicated.
I swear it.
Now, Brashmina kind of gives him a curt little nod. And basically, she's going to share any juicy deets that she might know about some of the shawls that she had previously spent time with. So she'll just kind of give him like the rundown of like things that were told to her in confidence,
Yeah.
things that she witnessed, things
Definitely,
that
like,
you know,
yeah,
because
like
they
embarrassing.
thought
Yeah.
yeah, because they thought she wouldn't ever, like, you know, say anything, which, like, you know, is an assumption on
Yeah.
their part that they probably should not have made.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, there's lots of
yeah.
awkward secrets and that kind of thing. Nothing like of great importance, but little embarrassing secrets that can definitely come out.
Yeah.
And help to put pressure on people.
Mhm.
So yeah, Sharat thanks you for the information and says he'll make sure to consult you before using any of it, but is glad you've told him.
Yes, I'm not exactly sure how long that would take.
Yeah, probably, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes.
Okay. I'm keeping it nice and vague because it is nice and vague as to what I know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, she'll basically try to, because she can't use any of the information herself to help Makud, she's going to try and pass along what she does know to someone else
Yeah,
so
I
that
like it.
maybe they can do something with it.
I like it.
Okay. And at the end of that time, she will excuse herself and
Yeah. You return
go
to the
down
bar.
to
E-
see Eli. Yes,
Eli
is he
has not
still
moved.
asleep? Has not moved.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this might be where it gets a little awkward. But Ashmina will try to wake Eli.
It takes a few attempts, but eventually, sort of like that's not a moan and kind of rolls over, gets his horns caught in like a cushion, like slowly sits up. He's got that like furrowed brow of someone with a killer hangover, and he sort of like looks up at you with bleary eyes. Oh, it's you.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Yes. It is whatever time it is.
And you see he sort of like sits up and kind of tries to like rub his eyes and regain some composure. Well, is there something I can do for you?
Are you busy? Maybe speak?
We're speaking now, aren't we?
Yes, well, you were busy the other day. I wanted to make sure that you are not too busy to speak to me now.
I don't think so, no.
Do you wish to talk here?
Depends. Would you rather be somewhere more private?
Yes, I think so.
He nods, kind of sighs, and like stretches out his back from where he's been sleeping awkwardly and leads you up the stairs to his room. It's pretty sparse. There's like lots of clothes and very fancy decor, like for himself, but not much to distinguish the room from any other room. And he kind of sits down on the bed and watches you. So,
Yes, so I owe you an apology.
do you know?
Yes, yes, I do. I was very distant the morning after, and I hurt your feelings. She says, and it's not quite a question.
Yeah. Sort of considers this for a moment, kind of runs his like tongue across his teeth. Why?
Why was I distant?
Yeah.
I am not very good at these sorts of things. It caught me off guard, honestly. I am not used to such displays of affection in public.
So,
I reacted badly, and I hurt your feelings, and I did not intend to hurt your feelings. I did not intend to make things difficult between us because I do like you, Eli.
but you'd rather I didn't come around when your friends were there.
No, that is not it. And I am sorry that I made you feel that way.
He sort of like leans forward and kind of like rubs his forehead a bit. Look, I thought it was pretty amazing. And I got up the next morning and I wanted to speak to you about it, and I just got nothing. And then nothing all day until I got a message in the evening. And I thought, you must not have realized. And that doesn't fill me with confidence.
I admit that I did not realize right away that I had hurt your feelings until Bryn told me that she invited you to dinner and that you said no, that you were busy.
Fragile ego on this guy.
Well, I understand. So that gives you a small smile. Yours, well, I can't imagine it's been very easy, and I probably shouldn't have taken it so personally, but well, I really like you too, Abrashmina.
Abrashmina will smile at him and say, good. I am glad. I am truly sorry that I hurt you and that there was this misunderstanding between us.
Well, all is forgiven, so why don't we just forget about it, and I'll get washed and changed, and maybe we could go for a drink or something.
That would be nice. I get to meet you at the Mirage.
I'd like that.
Abrashmina will smile and like turn to go and like hesitate for a moment before like heading back and giving him a kiss on the cheek before turning and leaving again.
Sort of like blushes that kind of rose gold color and grins. And yeah, we'll just like set about getting washed and applying a hell of a lot of his favorite perfumes.
Abrashmina will return to the Mirage.
You find like Makud just pummeling Declan or not Declan, Bryn into the ground.
I mean, there is some restraint. He likes Bryn, so he's not painting the walls with them.
Yay!
Just the floors and ceiling.
I mean, I was surprised you offered yourself up. I was going to say Makut was going to go around just basically brawling with people in bars, but
I mean, you and Bryn wrestle all the time. This is why we don't have the good tables in the center of the bar anymore. They're only near the edges of the walls.
How many tables have we broken this time?
what do we get?
I think you guys should do a mock combat. Roll initiative.
I mean, we can, but we don't want to get in the way of your alchemical stuff and the rom-com.
I mean, Declan will just
combat.
Put his earplugs in and keep working.
I'm just imagining
He's
Declan.
got AirPods.
I'm just imagining Declan like, he's like, yes, I finally got it. He's like very carefully pouring two liquids together, and there's just Makud like smashes through the floor.
It's like the scene in Spider-Man.
Oh yeah,
Spider-Man 2 with Stan Lee as the librarian.
Yeah.
And
The Amazing Spider-Man. Yeah, that's fantastic. Okay, so you'll have an enjoyable day. Eli comes over, smelling fantastic, looking all done up.
He's a fancy boy.
He is a very fancy boy. It has some like delicious Abrashmina special cocktails. And evening comes around. The Mirage begins to fill up with customers. And yeah, you're all sort of free to do as you wish. Is anyone planning any nighttime escapades? I wonder who I could be talking
Well, so Declan wanted to gather the three of them in the basement, probably in his lab, just for privacy's sake.
to. Sure.
Sorry, can I just have one very quick question to Jahir before you do the meeting of minds, in case I get
Yeah, yeah.
anything good for that? Thank you. I can't remember, but Makuda's going to ask, saying that apparently I spent most of the day at home. He'll spend some time of it asking about sandworms. If the hobgoblins have ever,
Oh, Jari.
have your kind ever, yeah, Jolie, has your
Yeah.
kind ever come across a sandworm, tamed it, killed it? Do you remember?
Yes. We have come across them a lot, but we do not kill them often. The great earth movers are almost invincible most of the time. The best thing to do is lie flat on the sand and stay as still as you can.
He kind of like looks at him, puzzled, and would let it go by.
Yes. Makud, you are very strong, but I have not seen power like those before. I am sure you could defeat one, but there is no harm, nor there is no need for me to put myself in harm's way. You simply let it pass, like a bad storm.
He's like a little deflated by that. He had, I don't know, images in his mind of, 50, 100 hobgoblins just like swarming over a worm and killing it or something, or training it something. And he like kicks a hoof or something. They seem fairly active now. They're going somewhere stony, the north west, east, something like that.
Yes, I know this place. Northeast.
Mafeast?
Northeast.
Oh, northeast. Right, I thought that he had a name for it for a moment.
Northeast? No.
Do you know why they would go there? Is it their home? Is it just something they do, like the Mardu
No.
move around?
Something has, how you say, riled them up, made them go insane, I think. I do not know, but I would not wish to be wandering the desert these days.
Do you know of the man, or the man with the bug mask, the Balshuk?
I have heard of this man, but I have not seen him.
So your tribe, some of your tribe might have encountered him before, or do they have anything? Do they know anything of him? He seems to have some sort of power over them, over the earth movers.
A strange wizard, some kind of man witch from the north. We do not speak of him much.
Fair enough. If they are as strong as you say they are, then maybe I'll finally get a fight worthy of a few more stories.
Makud, I do not doubt your strength, and I believe that the power in your arms is enough to defeat an earth mover, but I am just saying that I hope you are careful.
He like half turns away from him, and like there's a little bit of a flex in his arm as he like picks up the hammer that he's just dragging around him everywhere he goes. Makud always wins. And he's gonna walk from the basement.
Johnny
He thinks that's the
nods.
same as being safe.
Yeah.
If you know you're gonna win, then
Yeah.
there's no danger.
Can't fail. The interestingly, the wyverns, they're like the size of Shetland ponies at this point, and are getting extremely cramped in the basement. So whatever Jari has done, they are growing like crazy, and they're eating like big slabs of meat now. And anytime Makud comes down, they like, all want to sit on him and like bite him and nibble him in like an affectionate way.
That probably would have been some tussling. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
The wyverns produce poison, right?
Yeah.
From the tails.
Gotta get me some wyvern poison. I'm gonna milk those glands.
Good luck.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was only like yesterday, I think, in game terms, that he got Charat to agree to expanding
Yeah.
the Eyrie or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's all in motion.
it's in process.
Yeah, like you have seen six-eyed people kind of wandering around nearby, but there's nothing concrete yet.
Okay, now we can have the meeting of minds.
The meeting of the minds.
So Declan will just be waiting in his lab. Whenever you come in, he's probably like topless, but for the smock he wears while he's working on his alchemy, and just a big long pair of rubber glove, or not rubber, but like thick leather gloves, and goggles. And he probably wouldn't even notice until someone calls to him that you've come.
So this is around dinner time, yes?
Around, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Has Eli shown up yet? Abrashmina will make her excuses before she goes downstairs.
Yeah.
if
He's
Eli has
been around pretty soon after you left. But yeah, he's happy to let you go for a bit.
Okay. All right. So yes, we come downstairs. Abrashmina, I don't know where Bryn is, but Makud is playing with his wyverns, I assume.
I think, like, I was wandering over. I was finishing off that.
Okay.
I'm not that far. I would be the closest to the. So maybe when you come down or something.
Yeah. You'll definitely notice Makud idling it by your doorway.
Yes. Thank you for coming down. I would offer you a seat, but there's not many. Declan kind of just like stands over his desk. Not many places to sit.
Is there a
Like
reason
he'll-
we're doing this downstairs and not upstairs in a booth?
Well, on the off chance that unwanted ears are privy to our conversations. This won't take long. And he'll peel off his gloves, pull
What
off his
have you been
goggles.
working on?
This, actually. It's not much yet, but I am making progress, I believe, towards a substance that may allow us to resist the effects of the mind control magic that so many of the Ashari were felled by. Of course, there is the lingering question why none of us were affected by it in the first place, but better safe than sorry.
Yes, I do not even recall any sort of presence in my mind, but I was underground whenever it happened, so... Or not underground, I was indoors when it happened.
Rob, sort of retroactive, do any of us remember having any kind of effect come over us?
When the
In the very first session in the car?
Nothing like that.
Okay. So maybe useful, maybe not. I'd rather have it than not. But that is not why I've asked you to come. There are a few issues which I believe need addressing. First and foremost, as I explained to Brynhild the other day, well, this morning, I discovered some interesting things about the scum weasel after we had left it. It seems that in the hours after that we left, there were some of the men that I had left alive killed shortly after. Exactly what time I don't know yet, but I plan on figuring that out. And additionally, it seems that there were men hired to come by a mysterious patron, remove those bodies about a week later. I spoke to one of them who says that all the bodies were dead, including that of the barkeep who I had left alive.
How do you know that they did not kill them?
Because they were dead. The man who I obtained this information from told me that when he came, they were already dead, and I pride myself on being able to know people and hear falsehoods when they are spoken.
You are sure that he did not lie about this, that he was not party to the killing?
There's always a chance that I've erred, but yes, I'm sure.
And why are we concerned for Kolo's slavermen?
We are concerned for these men not because we mourn their loss, but because it seems that there is someone with awareness of our actions who is acting in response. So first, I would ask if any of you remember anything specifically from that time. Did you see anyone coming or going? Hear anything? Whenever these murders occurred, they must have been done shortly after. And although there's a small chance that any of us saw anything, I've never asked, so I felt that I should.
You said that those men came to clean up bodies a week after we were gone?
Correct.
Or a week after it happened?
And according to this man,
So we were
according
in
to
the desert.
correct, but according to the man who claimed them, they had been dead for some time.
And you are certain that he was not lying about this?
I am.
Where did he put the bodies?
Did he tell me that, Rob?
I think he said they put him in the ocean,
Yeah,
right?
they dumped them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they weight them down?
They did.
Did he mention?
Yeah.
Yes, they did. Finding
is
the
it-
bodies now would be an impossibility unless we are quite committed to searching the bottom of the sea.
Well, that
It's
depends. If they weighted them, they should be not
They
far
did.
from where they were dumped.
We
Well,
could take a look.
Yeah, I believe I said they like opened their bellies so that it would.
yeah.
So, but I mean, the currents around Ashar are pretty fucking strong. So your chance of finding them are slim and none.
Okay.
I've accepted that I may never find the bodies of these men, but it concerns me that men that I left alive, quite specifically for a purpose, the purpose of turning them to our aims as an informant, were taken out from under us.
To be
I
fair,
see.
you try to leave everyone alive, and until now, we did not really know your true purpose for that.
Be that as it may. The question stands, does anyone remember anything?
It's not possible that it was this man's employer and he just simply had them go back and clean up.
2 different men for the same job, maybe.
Of course,
Well,
it's
no,
possible.
I mean, yeah.
Of course, anything is possible.
I mean, as we discussed last night, I mean, Kolo had many enemies, did he not? He could have been double dipping.
Could be.
Could have been the preacher himself.
Could be. Can I request a deception check here?
Yeah, I feel like that's fair because Bryn is actively lying.
Mm.
23.
20.
Ooh,
So.
this
Close.
close one.
It could be. Makud, Mina, anything?
I do not recall anyone. Oh, sorry, you go.
Oh no, you go.
Mina is just going to say, I do not recall anyone, but because we were very intent on capturing Tambrin, we had a very brief window from when Eli's banishment would work to subdue him. I remember that. We were in the middle of the street. Anyone could have seen us there.
It's quite true.
It's entirely possible that perhaps someone saw us having an altercation with these men and decided to. Well, no, that doesn't quite make sense because if they were going to use our quarrel with them as an excuse to kill them, they would have made sure the bodies would have been found.
Either way,
Has anyone
I-
done anything with the scumweasel since this happened?
I returned there just the other day, and it seemed quite abandoned. No one had been there for a long time.
It does not quite make sense that someone would clean up after this, unless there was some sort of. Either they had to have been involved or they profit from it in some way. Yes?
I'm not sure.
I mean,
Considering how close the murders were to the time we left, I have to assume that whoever it was knew we were there and was tracking our movements in some way. Regardless, I'll get to the bottom of it eventually, but I wanted to take the slim chance, or take the opportunity to explore this slim chance that maybe one of you might have seen something useful, but I will continue down this path.
I mean, we beat up the people and then we left for some time. Anything could have happened between then. Whoever this new preacher is, whoever this new evil is, you're going to get to the bottom of him, and then we can fight him in a temple with demons.
Potentially, yes. I'm not
Good.
sure. I'm not sure that it's anyone with any sort of connection to the preacher. I think this may be some other shadowy figure that we've not yet quite come to understand.
What evidence do you have of that other than this man's word and his mysterious employer? Is there something you're not sharing with us?
Not particularly. No.
You're just that confident in your ability to tell whether or not he is lying.
I am. It's a skill I've perfected over some time. Of course, Bryn, as I told you the other day, I will ask for your help when I speak to this man again.
And I offered it.
I'd also like to point out, Declan, not that I have any sort of doubt in your abilities, but you find these things and you question these people without any of us present. Whenever I have abilities and Bryn has abilities that allow us to know it for certain if someone is speaking the truth. I have that magic. Bryn has her ability to read their thoughts. Why would you not take us with you when you question these people in the first place?
Well, frankly, if you want me to be perfectly honest, you're often not very quiet. Declan kind of cringes a little bit as he's waiting for like a little backlash.
I mean,
I am perfectly quiet now that I do not have now that I have this, and she kind of like taps her breastplate. It is only in the desert or in the sewers when I was not so quiet. She says, but she has been not so quiet plenty of times because she is not proficient in stealth.
Yeah. He's mostly looking at Abrishmina.
Yeah.
Um,
She's taking a little offense because she's tried.
I appreciate that you have done your best to maintain our stealth when it's needed, but for these operations, they generally are best handled alone. But as I said, I have requested Bryn's help going further with this, and it will be quite helpful.
But I'm just. Just saying that there is, perhaps a zone or something that I could provide for you in these situations.
I will bear that in mind, Mina. Thank you.
So I'm curious, have you returned to any of the other individuals that you've requested?
I have.
Levelin?
Um,
And they've agreed to assist you in.
They have. Some. I have not had the time yet to explore every avenue available to me, but I'm working on it. I plan to go back out on patrol tonight and continue establishing this network, among other things.
I'm just curious if they have perhaps encountered this individual or group of individuals that may be acting in secret, tailing us.
Do you think perhaps it is a possibility that someone has noticed that you are trying to build these connections with people and that they were trying to make sure it was a thread that you could not have, and so they cut it before you had a chance to weave it?
That is exactly my fear.
And there must have been more to the Scumweasel than we knew, besides it being just a place that Kolo and his men like to hang out. And Tambrin and his men, not Kolo and Tambrin both.
I rarely find it useful to make an assumption that is based on little information. Unfortunately, the picture is largely incomplete at the moment, but I plan on filling it in. With your help, of course.
Unfortunately, we burned Tambrin's body, so that is not an avenue I can pursue for you.
What do you mean?
I could speak with the dead if we had the bodies, but the ones in the water we cannot question. But Tambrin knew these men. It was possible that perhaps they had made enemies that we could have asked him about. But like I said,
Declan's the wheels in Declan's head are turning a little bit.
Oh wait, he thought Tambrin was alive. Oops, because he left the room after that. It's a doodle.
We'll wreck on that.
No, I mean Abrashmina said it, so you can have him respond to that if you want.
Well, that Tambrin is dead.
Yeah, if you want to.
Didn't we know that? I'm confused. I might be misremembering.
You left. Bryn killed him. Abrashmina brought him back.
Right.
Or Bryn killed him, left the room. Abrashmina brought him back. We questioned him some more, and then you left, and Abrashmina killed him after you had left.
I mean, I assumed he was dead. So
Okay. Slightly different. It was a slightly different situation than the dude, the Scumweasel.
Didn't he ask to die or something?
Yes, he did several times.
To end it. Yeah.
But no, Declan didn't. I don't think he knew that you could speak to the dead. Has he seen you do that before?
She has mentioned it before.
Oh, okay.
But she has not done it. Yes. She has not done it, but she has blah blah blah.
Gotcha. Well, it may be worth it in that case then for me to scour the bottom of the sea. May turn up nothing, but perhaps.
I do not think that it would perhaps be a worthwhile endeavor if there is not a mouth for which the dead to speak through. There is not really a way for them to communicate with me.
Do they require a mouth? Is that part of the spell?
They have to be able to speak, yes. That is why there are so many religions and rituals that ensure that such a thing cannot happen after death.
I see. Either way, we can move on from this. It was just something I wanted to bring up.
Well,
I do have a... Oh, did you want to say something?
I was just going to say my money's on having to do with the preacher or slavers.
Seems likely. Although all indications from my research into the Preachers organization is that it was largely wiped out at this point. However, that does bring me to one final bit related to the Preacher. It seems that the vast portion of the wealth of this organization passed through a ship docked here in the city called the Helmsman's Trove. I believe it may be prudent for us to come upon this ship and see if perhaps we can reclaim some of that gold for the Six Eyes and the liberation of Shah's slaves.
This might also be a good way of providing some of the ex-clergy a bit of means to restart their lives once they are ready for it.
Yes, perhaps. Whatever we decide to do with that money, it certainly should not be in the hands of slavers anymore. And I suggest we liberate it.
It is
That,
still being operated and guarded, from what you could tell. Have you been by to see?
I believe. I think I did.
No.
No, not yet. That was part of my agenda for the evening as well. That does also bring up to mind one lingering question that I have from the end of our escapades taking down the preacher. When we snuck aboard Kolo's ship, I still am not sure I know, and maybe this is information that has come up already, and so before I say it, I should just clarify. Did we ever find out how the preacher found out we were going to be there?
Oh. No.
I mean, you did find Crystal Ball, and you have... Bryn has mind spoken with the Oracle, who turned out to be the Lashed, so... You can
we can assume that they were scrying.
There's a fair assumption that there's a hell of a lot of scrying and stuff.
Okay.
But
Sure. So
the exact nature, is still
my meta knowledge is that usually you get like a saving throw versus scrying. So I was assuming as a player that there must have been like a leak or an informant or something.
No, I mean they were using the crystal balls, kind of like the Palantir, so it was more like they.
There
Yeah,
was
they
a
weren't necessarily
powerful demonic
scrying.
demigod.
Pardon?
I'm sure they could. I'm sure a powerful demonic demigod has its own methods of gathering information.
It was DM bullshit.
They also
Yeah.
knew where we operated out of, so they could have been scrying on the Mirage in the center of the city, and none of us would have had to make a saving throw if they were scrying on a place.
Sure. So, if that is the assumption, Declan will not bring that up.
Okay.
But yeah, that's it.
I think our discussions, like in game, I think our discussions were just that we were betrayed by something. I think, like the city guard, because like the city guard was like waiting on us.
No, well, I mean that's obvious, but we didn't. For Declan's point of view, like as far as he knows, I mean now he knows it's scrying. Fine, fuck it. But without that information, my assumption is like, well, how did the guard know to be there? We were the only people that knew, and the Six Eyes, right? So if there was someone in the Six Eyes who was selling us out, that's a problem.
Yeah.
And he's already feeling pretty paranoid considering everything that happened with the Scum Weasel. So
yeah.
Anyway, that's it.
That is a lot of things on your agenda, Declan, for this evening. Asking about Abella, asking about the Scum Weasel, asking about the Trove.
Yes.
Do you want help? There are things that perhaps do not require someone to be as quiet.
If you wish, it could be a late night.
I mean, we are in this together, yes? I do not like that we are separate.
Declan begins to get a little uncomfortable. I don't mean to hurt your feelings.
Not you and me personally, Declan.
No, I understand. Of course. We are, of course, a team. I am accustomed to working alone. If you wish to come out on patrol with me, I suppose I would be amenable to that. Again, will be a bit of a late night.
I feel like these are things that perhaps we should all be part of. And she kind of like, it's like this is Maku. One of the things is that we are trying to find Maku's friend.
Yes.
Should be it's important.
I understand. You will forgive me if I am a bit uncouth here. You seem to be making an emotional argument for what are practical matters, Abrashmina.
Yes, practical,
mean-
perhaps, but she kind of like sighs but says, like, just because they are not logical does not mean that they are less important. It's like, yes, there is this mystery with the scum weasel, but these men are dead. And I think that the more driving issue should not be what happened with their death, but what happened with the thing that you know. And the thing that you know is that someone is working against us again. Someone that we do not know and do not have a face to. That
Agreed.
is more important than what might have happened.
I suppose, but are you saying the two are not intertwined?
They do not necessarily need to be, but I suppose it is possible. It is
Nothing
just
necessarily needs to be. I'm trying to establish what is. And he's beginning to get a little frustrated with the sort of circuitous
yeah.
logic,
No, it's like one of those things. Is that, to my mind, you know that there is an entity that hired a person that hired these men. You have a witness that will corroborate that, but they will not tell you anything about this man. I feel like that is something that he knows about something about that person. And you have means, and she kind of like looks at Bryn, of finding out what he knows without him actually saying what he knows.
I have established that that is what I am going to do.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Makud's like rubbing his temples a little bit. So are we asking about this floating treasure ship, or are we going to go smash it up?
I am planning on scouting it tonight. Anyone who wants to join me is, of course, welcome, Declan says, and sort of like throws his rubber gloves or his leather gloves down on the desk and begins to like clean himself up. And
Yeah, I think what it is that Mina is trying to drive Declan into going for group things rather than Declan things.
okay.
So for like your sake.
I mean, I understand what's happening. It just doesn't make any sense to Declan.
Yeah. Okay.
What?
He's like, that's what I'm gonna do, but like, 'cause she knows, like, he'll say like he'll do these things, but then he'll come back and be like, well, I found out about this thing that I wanted to know and this thing that I wanted to know, but oh yeah, I forgot to ask about the Bella. So
Makud wasn't like getting at him. He just wants to know what is going on. And you gave him a target that sounds like go take the gold from this place. So he
Yeah,
wanted
totally.
to know.
Well, no, so what he said was, we're
Yeah.
gonna go on that ship, and tonight I'm gonna go find out what the guard situation is.
And then we go on the ship tonight after you find out, or another night.
Well, since it seems this has become a group adventure, I suppose we can make that decision tonight.
All right. I have a bag now that can store lots of gold. And he like taps at the large pouch at his side. We can take
That
it
will
all.
that will be very good.
Yes, very good. If you'll excuse me, I need to change for dinner.
I wouldn't be late. I don't think Holly would take being late 2 nights in a row. She might make you scrub the pots.
Charming, yes.
So, dinner comes and goes. Eli whines about not being able to come with Abrashmina, but accepts it and heads back to the Mirage. And the four of you are free to do as you will.
Abrashmina will invite him to wait for her at home if he wishes.
He does.
All right.
You get the impression he was kind of angling for her to say that. But yeah, he'll head up.
Guess I'll go home now.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how late I'll be, but you're welcome. Like, You can stay up if you want to.
Just don't make a mess. Yeah, he'll head up to your room then and get a power nap. So the four of you are let loose on the city at night. What would you like to do?
Declan feels a bit encumbered by all the extra bodies, but he's going to set about his normal sort of patrol routines. He'll check the drop sites that he's established so far for messages. He'll put instructions for people to find Abella. Detailed description of her appearance.
Yeah.
Into each one.
So first things first then, if you're going to the dead drop, you do find something in there.
Okay.
So you find where is it? It's been a while. It's been my notes for a little while. There we go.
It's been a while.
You find a handwritten message in there, very messy writing from your informant Fahar.
Mm-hmm.
And it says it mentions a man named Scriven who comes from Dethoin, because if you remember, you were asking him about Aldok leaves specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And that it was bought a lot by the preacher's folks, but is now more commonly purchased by the local addicts. Scriven can be found on the docks most days. He has a small beard and always has a grey satchel on him, and he is extremely allergic to shellfish, which is for some reason included.
I will, in addition to leaving instructions to find Abella, I will leave 100 gold in there,
Okay.
and then seal the drop. I guess I shouldn't seal it, just because then he can't get in there.
Mask it.
Yeah, and I will also ask the rest of the party to wait around the alley. Declan's happy, accepting their company, but he's still not totally comfortable, sharing every little bit of his routine.
Abrashmina was going to offer you money if you were going to pay a man, but okay, you can pay for it all yourself then.
I do.
Excellent.
And then what else did I say? So that's the first bit of searching for Abella. He was planning on heading to the market district, I guess, where all the shawls are, right? Is that where we decided?
No, they are far further north, or
okay.
far further south even of the market.
Shawl
district.
just means rich guy, right?
No, Shal means lord.
Yeah? Okay.
But it's also
nobility.
Yeah, so it means lord officially, but if someone is of much higher station than you, even if they're not a Shal, you might refer to them as such, kind of my lord. But yeah, to be an actual Shal, you have to be a lord.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I guess let's put my character sheet. He's trying to see if he can. So who else was in his network? There was Ardeep Singhira, who was his one of the very first people he talked to. Sur, one of his criminal informants, people like that who probably aren't plugged into the workings of the nobility, but might have knowledge of those people based on their attempts to either sell them slaves or steal from them, things like that. So he's trying to see if he can get any information about someone matching her description seen among the Shal.
Sure. So you kind of ask around a few, and it seems like no one has heard of this green-eyed slave, which, as we've established before, would be extremely well documented, but it's not ringing any bells for anyone.
Okay.
Even Sur, who will do anything for some gold, has never ever heard of a green-eyed slave.
It's disconcerting.
Yes, Abrashmina will agree. And she's trying to remember the exact wording. Okay, lives where the wealthy reside. What other districts do the wealthy reside in the city that is not the castle? Because we established it was
So
not the
there's the
castle.
castle, there's the palace district, which is where pretty much all the Shals live, which is basically just next to them.
Okay.
Apart from that, the upper middle class, all sort of live just south of the market district, but not actually in the market district itself.
And
But
Abrashmina doesn't.
the wealthy live in the palace district.
Okay. So, but sorry, before I lose this train of thought, where the wealthy reside is not a euphemism for something else Abrashmina feels. It is literally where a rich person, like there's not a district in the city that used to be called something that might make it sound like wealthy people live there
No,
or
not to your
anything like
knowledge,
that.
no.
Okay. Making sure it wasn't some sort of god being fake.
I rolled a very high intelligence check for me, for him to have an idea. And like with you bringing up or talking about Abella again, like he's mostly being a bit grumpy, a little distance away in the darkness, like in the shadow or something. And he's like, lives. That does not mean she has to live like we do in the light. It just means she breathes. If no one has seen her, perhaps she's not been anywhere. Locked up as a favor to Torlian.
That was my suspicion as well.
Did she have any sort of special position that she never took off? Like I have my symbol and you have your headdress. Does she ever have anything that she kept on her person at all times?
No, nothing like that you would remember, Makud.
She was relatively poor, right?
Yeah,
Like,
very.
yeah. She's
Didn't
like,
have like any sort of trinkets from Adelaide that might have been given to her? Or not that she would have been allowed to keep, I suppose.
No, it was because everything was so under wraps. It was very much like they wrote each other dirty letters, and that was about it.
Okay. I was all like, Abrashmina could just do locate object and walk around the rich district for a few hours. That might be what it comes to at some point. But if she doesn't have anything, is a green-eyed slave considered an object per the parameters of the spell? Or is that a creature?
I'm gonna say straight up no.
Can
Well,
you do locate creature yet?
Oh, that is a
It's
good
a fourth
question.
level spell.
I might be able to. Uh, can I narrow it down to something like that, like a person with green eyes?
Let me have a look at the spell.
Okay. Da, 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 da. Going to unprepare that and see what I can get. I do have locate creature. Describe
Yeah,
or name.
you can describe a
creature.
name. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
okay.
can do that.
I do not have it prepared today,
Oh,
but
show.
that might be something that I have to do tomorrow. That is a very good idea, Makoot.
Small boy.
Makuda's like looking at like he had an idea.
Mm-hmm.
A little surprised.
His brain grew 2 sizes that day.
It's totally something that she thought of only because, like, that just means that's where she is, and that she might not be able to leave. And like Abrashmina, her mind went somewhere else, but she's giving them credit to Makoot. She wants Makoot to feel
High
like
five,
a smart
Elf.
boy.
Yeah. So, Can we take a 5-minute break there, and then we'll come back
Sure.
and finish off this night of stealing around the filthy areas of Ashar?
Okay.
Be right back.
Cuckoo.
I forgot that was a spell I could take.
It's a total thing.
I totally forgot about it. Because yeah, most of my force level spells are banishment and blight, and then divination.
I mean, those are all super handy.
Yeah.
Is this something like the 4th level spells is just something you've got access to at this level? You haven't
I've only
actually-
had access. I've only had access to it for. Like I got access to it right before we went into the desert, and then right whenever we came back. So yes, it is entirely my fault, the player, that Abrashmina hasn't thought of looking for her this way since
For
we got
months.
back.
But these are your top level spells right now, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's just that they're new gifts. They're not a gift that
Yeah.
you've learned of. So
Yeah. Like we got 4th level spells as we were going into the preacher fight.
sure.
And we didn't know about Abella until after we got back. But like, yes, Abarashmina has gone a few days in game time without realizing that she could do this. It's like, oops, I forgot. It is totally a thing I can do. But anyways, break.
Sure. Break. Woo. Woo.
Woo woo. Jinx.
Fight. I want to go to the Drove.
Never!
More talking.
I have to investigate.
Yeah.
Just insight checks all day.
Jade.
Dan?
So I imagine that Bryn and McCood were kind of like almost old-timey bare knuckle boxing or something,
Oh, yeah, man.
like wrestling, or like set up in stages or something, grappling and throwing. I imagine lots of acrobatics as McCood. Like, I was almost going to say when Mina walks in, just like you sail by, like flip over a table or something and land.
Hi, Mina. How are you?
Yeah. Then you like "Rah!" run back towards.
Right?
um, there's
So,
like we don't notice, but there's a spider in the wings with like 8 or 6 flags or something, just like with Brian written on them. Woo! Just waving them.
Then we have like a sparring ring down in the basement. Or training
I
area.
built I built one.
Yeah. I mean,
But-
we just use the bar anyway.
I assumed you guys were in the basement sparring.
No.
That's where I thought you guys were too.
No, man. We have to break tables. It's
No fun.
canon.
Yeah.
You're just trying to help Tolix practice, right?
Yeah.
His mending.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's all for the good of Thomas.
I am back.
Well,
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Back.
Rob, I'm keen to take this whole keeping dangerous pets in the apartment thing, like as far as McCood can take it, until like city inspectors are turning up.
I
Why are
love
there
it.
wyverns flying around? It's like that's what they do. They fly.
You start killing people's pets
I love it.
and then killing people's children.
It's like all these people show up, like farmers, like, what the fuck did you do to my goats?
That's what they do. They hunt.
I will buy you new goat. Better goat.
Better goat. Not puny goat.
Did that
This
goat
one
have a
kill
family?
So did you say that the last session didn't record like at all? At all?
Yeah, so basically YouTube changed the stream key on me for some reason, which it's not supposed to do, and so it just like never went live at all, which is very sad, but it is what it is, and I made sure that it was working,
Okay.
and it is
'Cause
working
I
now.
didn't get
so
proper notes for the dinner. No,
I
I
know.
feel sad.
sad.
Same, because I was all like, "Oh no," but that's okay. Dan will be getting notes, and then I was all like, "Oh no, Dan get notes. That's okay. There is the Rob. Where's your YouTube link? Did you not post it?" And it's like, "No, it's on there." I'm like, "No, the last thing on there is the Helio game." And he was like, "No."
Yeah, that was a
It's
sad
exactly how that
revelation.
conversation.
Yeah, your
went.
impression of me is spot on.
No. I suppose I needed more motorbikes and the sound of you flipping over a car hood to make it completely
All
accurate.
right, fuck off. I'm still traumatized. Too soon.
My name is Robert Barclay, and I'm from England.
That's my
That is a
message.
spot on Declan impression.
I'm from Guernsey and I'm an accountant.
I think.
I take issue with both things you said there because I'm neither. But
Yeah, I was
I'll
going to say
let it
they
slide.
both got it wrong. You're not from England or Guernsey.
I'm not from England. I'm not from Guernsey. I'm not a fucking accountant. So, you know, 0 for 3 people. I thought you'd know me better by now, but
Where you were born in Scotland? Where were you born?
Yes.
born and raised.
Okay. Never
Well,
mind.
I live in Guernsey and it's an important distinction because I'm
Because I'm not fucking Guern.
European about it that way.
You guys call yourselves Gurners?
Nah, they call them Guerns.
Guns?
But me and my family call them 3 eyes because they're all weird and inbred and have 3 eyes.
Oh God, is it an entire like island full of people from Lawton, Oklahoma?
No, it's just that one of Guernsey's parishes is like way too few surnames. So if you ever come over, don't go down Torteval. I mean, a place called Torteval, you know it's going to be fucked anyway. But yeah, it's
Anyway.
weird. It's weird down there. Anywho, back to another weird place.
So,
So you've just
back to my
yeah you've just done the whole what's it called?
Round.
No, you've just been to the dead drop. What's next?
Well, so we went to the day drop, and I assume we spent a few hours. We kind of hand waved, talking to different people to try to find.
Yeah.
God, I keep
Abella.
blanking on her name. Abella. Can you cast find person now?
That is up to the DM
No.
because I did not reset. Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I was gonna say I didn't reset. It hasn't been in my spell list until now, but it will
So,
be in the morning
tomorrow
after I've
morning.
the rest.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Well, what time of day is it, or what time of night is it by the time we've done all this?
It's like 9:10.
Okay. Well, now comes the fun part. I'm going to find a position on a roof near the docks and sit there for. Declan counts briefly in his head. At least the next 5 hours.
could we not just walk by the ship?
I prefer not to. We are quite identifiable. Many people know us. They would know that we are perhaps preparing something.
Could we not just
Um,
walk onto the ship and do the thing we are here to do?
No.
Bryn can make someone invisible.
I would prefer to watch the ship first to see what manner of defenses there are.
Well, if someone was invisible, you could walk up and see for yourself instead of trying to see from a distance.
I suppose that's true, but the chances of things going wrong are much greater.
Yes, I suppose.
Okay. I guess come get me when you want to do the thing. And he just kind of like rubs his forehead a little bit, and he's just gonna wander home because he's not gonna sit in a basement again for 5 hours.
No, this is a roof. It's much more enjoyable.
He will go through that roof probably, but unless it's a sturdy building.
He looks to the two ladies. You coming?
Abrashmina nods.
Very well.
For a few hours at least.
Dan, roll me a d20, please.
I shall. That is a 9.
Okay. So as you're making your way home, you wander through the alleys, and you see two sort of youngish men, like mid to late 20s, kind of having like a very heated argument outside, and like, residential building, just looks like a house. But they're standing in you can tell they're kind of whispering, keeping their voices low, but they're arguing about something. One of them is very, very tall, though nowhere near as tall as you, and the other is like kind of average height. They're both pretty bulky, and wearing these sort of like long black cloaks that sort of hide their form. And they just sort of like stop and kind of eye you as come down the street.
Makud kind of like is just walking and kind of slows just a little bit and is just kind of eyeing them back, and I imagine that is going to continue until they're at least like he has reached them.
Yeah. So as you like get kind of within earshot, one of them calls out to you and says, "Hey, you are Amarutu, yes? One of the virtues?"
I am both.
They sort of like give each other a look. Say, you looking for work?
He kind of like looks around. Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay. You fancy stepping in this house with us? We can talk in private.
He kind of shrugs. There's no sense of danger, so
Yeah, make me an insight check.
I mean, I can. 7.
Oh, these fine gentlemen and their enjoyable establishment wish to offer you some pleasant work.
Sure, why not?
So duck in, and they kind of follow you in behind. And you see it's like a small kind of room, fairly well kitted out, with like weapons and stuff on the wall. You see in total there are 7 people in this room, and they're all wearing the same black cloaks. And I'm gonna have to ask you to roll initiative, Makood.
Yeah. If I immediately rage, I'm not. If they're all like armed with weapons and pointing at him, he might immediately range. So he can't be surprised.
Okay,
in case they were going
fine.
to try and get a jump on him. But
yeah, that's fair enough. So you see
17 is the initiative, by the way.
17. Okay, you beat them. So this room is very large. Actually, it sort of like extends downwards, and you have to you come down some steps into the room. Probably like almost 40 feet by 40 feet. It's sort of a basement cellar type situation that's being knocked through. You see 3 of the figures look tall and draw cutlasses, and they look kind of quite broad and strong physical fighters. You see a few more kind of near the back corner, all have crossbows, and you see one more who stands and draws like a very fine sword, and you can see like he's coalescing magic in his left hand. And you can go first. These men definitely mean to attack you.
How far away is Makood?
Very.
This is what happens when you ruin my patrol.
Whatever, this could have happened to you.
He was going away to not ruin your patrol, but Bakud loves it. So you said there were 7 in total?
7
Or
in
is it
total,
7?
sir.
Okay, cool. Are they all roughly equidistant from me?
So the two behind you are definitely closest. But all the ones in front of you, they're all within an easy movement. But there's sort of 3 nearer the front who are kind of. There's 1 behind you and 2 in front of you that are kind of the stronger ones. I'll give you the names. So there's 3 brutes, 3 hunters, and a spellblade. And the brutes are kind of closing in. The hunters are staying further away from you, and the spellblade is kind of circling around.
And it's 2 brutes, I imagine, either side of him.
So 2 brutes in front of you, 1 who kind of followed you in.
Okay.
And 1 hunter who followed you in.
All weapons drawn ready. And
yeah, all like they heard your voice and immediately like got to their feet, weapons, so that as soon as you came in, they could attack.
So he like turns to one of the guys next to him, and like sand is like starting to whip up from from his feet, and I go, "Oh, you want me to beat them up, do you?" And he like cracks his knuckles and just starts charging. He'll hit the first guy in front of him because he still hasn't necessarily read the 2 guys next to him.
Yeah.
Unless they like start drawing weapons, but can
then
I charge?
The first one in front of you is a brute, so.
Cool. So I will horn attack primarily after moving 10 or so feet.
Okay.
I think it is.
Yeah.
That would be a 21 to hit.
Hits.
And seven, 12, 14. Yes, 14 damage.
14.
And he has. Have we used his reaction to make a show of DC 16?
Yeah. Okay, he's going to beat that DC natural 18.
Okay, cool.
So you sort of like smash into him. He kind of like does the sort of feet stay still but slide back a little bit.
I imagine he's almost like holding on to one of the horns or something like that, and he gets pushed back just a smidge. And then I'm gonna basically smash him in the ribs with the maul, with the top end of it, just like gut punch.
Yeah, love it.
That is 19.
19 hits.
Okay. This is going to hurt this fellow. And then I have the fire. Just in case it is any different, 6 fire damage.
It is not. Just you can give me it all in one big go.
Okay, fair enough. 7, 14, 20.
20, nice. Okay, he's still looking fine. As this
cool.
sort of ambush presses in around you, is there anything else you'd like to do on your turn?
I think I've done everything for bonus action raging. I've used my action to push him and everything else.
Then the hunters charge in. Or the brutes charge in first. That is going to be a natural 2, so an 8 to hit, which misses. A 19 and a 16
Hits.
to hit.
16 does not. I have 17.
Okay, so just a
AC now.
19. That's going to be 4 points of damage on that one, slashing. And the first one is going to use his the one who hit you is going to use his action surge to roll a 15 to hit, which misses, I believe.
It does. You're looking for 17.
Yeah. Okay. Then the hunters will all open fire, kind of ducking about. 16 misses. That's cocked. It's a natural 1 and a 21 to hit, so that hits.
Yes.
D10. It's going to be 6 points of damage from the crossbow and 3 points of damage on the sneak attack. Then the Spellblade is going to cast Witch Bolt on you. For an 18 to
Somebody
hit.
got a hold person or anything?
Sorry, which bolt for 18?
Yes, to hit.
Yes, that does hit. Oh, hang on. Have I got... Oh, it's not a saving throw, but I have advantage on saving throws.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's going to be a D12 lightning damage. Here it is. There's going to be 5 lightning damage there.
Very well.
Your go.
He has taken 11 damage. The guy in front of him, he said, still looked okay.
Yeah. He's breathing heavily, but he's not looking like he's ready
Okay.
to give up anytime soon.
No problem. I think I'm going to lay into him again with the maul twice. So I imagine he's mostly surrounded now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very claustrophobic at this point for Makud.
He roars in happiness and stretches out a bit like he was in the arena again, and he's gonna continue to smack the guy in front of him, and that is one miss because that was miserable. But the other one is a 19 again,
That hits.
which will hit. These were both maul strikes. And so that's only 18 damage this time.
18.
Didn't roll quite so well. Have I got? Nope.
Very well. So as you
That's
kind of
it.
you smash into him, and he kind of grunts, and he's looking a little bit bloody now, but the rest of them just charge in, including him. So the brutes, that's gonna be a 15 miss. That's gonna be a 24 hit. And that's gonna be an 18, which hits. So you're gonna take on the first one. It's gonna be 6 slashing. The second one is also 6. One of them is gonna take an action surge for a 16, which misses. So just 12 points of slashing there, halved. Then the hunters, it's gonna be a miss. It's gonna be an 18, and that's gonna be a 19. So 2 hits. So that's gonna be on the first one, minimum 1, so 4 points of damage. Piercing plus 9 sneak attack, and 7 points of piercing and 9 sneak attack. Am I going too fast?
No, managing.
Cool. Let me know if you miss one, because there's a lot of good dudes to get through, so I'm not gonna.
Makud has a health potion, right?
I have a couple,
Okay, good.
I think. Yes.
I think we gave you one of the Supremes, I think. I wanna
Supreme,
say-
Greater, and a healing. I have
Oh,
one of
thank
both.
God.
And you take 11 from the witch bolt.
I thought that was a D10 on the subsequent rounds.
Nope.
Oh, damn.
D12.
Okay.
Both times.
13, 20, 30, 41.
You just can't have the upcasted damage on the
Okay.
Yeah.
rounds. Okay.
Go ham, Makud.
Are they all within like a 20 foot?
Easily.
Okay. Oh no. Right. So, stream of magma, 20-foot radius, 60-foot range. How many can I hit with that? Is it like a wave, like a tidal wave type thing?
I kind
or
of picture it as like I think Igmuti actually used it.
Oh, it's like a geyser or something.
Yeah, it's like
just
several
falls.
columns that sort of like shoot up around you and spray it in a fan.
Sure. He's gonna grin, blood in the air, and he's gonna smash the spin and then smash them all down. And then this geyser of lava is just going to erupt.
Yeah.
Ideally, to hit the guys who are surrounding him.
It's gonna
or at
hit
least
everyone
one
in the
of them.
room.
Yeah,
Like if
okay.
magma erupts in the room and it's small enough, it's hitting you.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Hey, Rob.
Hey.
The spell blade or whatever, he didn't use his action to attack, did he?
No, he. Oh, is it just?
He loses the spell if he uses his action for anything other than to
Yeah.
recast
No, he
the
just.
damage.
Yeah, he just
just
did
did
his
it.
automatic D12.
Okay, I was just making sure that he didn't get a stab in
No.
as well. Okay. Trying to send Makud some damage and some not there to actually heal him.
It's dangerous to go alone.
Makud is not the one that needed that lesson.
13. Okay. That's 20. That's 30. That's another 12. That is a DC 14 test to all of them. Sorry, I should have said that earlier.
Yeah.
And it's 46 damage.
Oh, okay. So, Brute 1, natural 1. Brute 2, natural 18. Brute 3, natural 3, so that's a fail. Hunter 1, natural 18, success. Hunter 2, natural 4, that's a fail. Natural 5, that's a fail. Spellblade, natural 2, that's a fail. So they all failed except one Brute and one Hunter. So, 40, how much? 6.
46 damage.
Okay. Okay. So you just see all these people just get burned, screaming. You guys all the way over feel like a very slight rumble in the ground. like just for a second. Not enough to be a full-blown earthquake or eruption or anything, but you feel it, and you can kind of maybe a few hours later get the whiff of like sulfur on the air. You see the dude you've been laying into fall down to one knee and then slowly get back up. He is not dead, and so are none of the others, but they are all looking awful, except the two who managed to sort of like jump over the bar, or up onto tables and sort of avoid most of the damage.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of solidifies on the ground, making it uneven. The whole room is difficult terrain, as there's this just like black instant cooled rock now covering the place. That's your turn, Makood?
I think so. I think that's his action.
Cool. So, that was a big place. So, Brute 1, gasping from the pain, still swings in with a natural 19. And he is going to be the last to use his action surge and get a natural 5. Fuck. No more action surges, so 1 hit. Brute 2, that's going to be a natural 8, which will miss. And Brute 3, that's going to be a 22, which hits. So that was 2 hits. The first hit is going to be 10 points of slashing. The second hit is going to be 9 points of slashing.
Okay.
These are all pre-halved.
Because the Spellblade took damage, you should have con check.
Con check. So that's going to be, what, 23 DC?
Yes.
How you looking there, Makood?
Half health?
Big time failed that. So he kind of stumbles back, completely missing his spell. That's annoying. The hunters, that's going to be a natural 19, a natural 20, and a natural 17. So that's going to be 3 hits. Yeah, this is going to suck. So, Hunter 1, that's going to be 10 points of piercing. Hunter 2, that's going to be 16 points of piercing. And Hunter 3 is going to be 4 points of piercing. The Spellblade is going to run towards you.
Can I ask a real quick question?
Yep.
So, have we seen Makood or been around Makood when he's used that function of the mace before, or the maul?
I don't think he's
no.
ever used that, because I was going to use it on the clergy, but then
Okay.
we made friends. You've seen Igmuta use it. That was out in the desert.
Oh, that's true, yeah. So, can we get some kind of check to see if we might recognize that's Igmuti's maul?
You can try, but I mean, it will
Might
be
be
a
real
difficult
hard.
one.
It's just a
Yeah.
shake from a distance.
Yeah, it's like a slight rumble in the
Perception check,
distance. Yeah, perception.
So 19 on the die.
Don't suppose that what's his face? Ramiel is any idea what's going on to Makood?
Nope.
21 for me.
So that's a 30 for me.
Okay, so Declan, you do You do like get that smell of sulfur, and you immediately think of the fighting Igmuti.
So Declan's gonna stop what he's doing and say, "I think Makud's in combat," and just begin heading in the direction of the vibration.
What?
You can't. You have no idea the direction of the vibration. You know vaguely the way to the Mirage and the way Makud went, but there's no way you'd be able to determine that. Like it's
Okay,
so slight. It's like glasses
yeah,
clink
yeah.
together for a second.
He'll do his best to see if he can find Makud based on the information he has.
So I'll just resolve this last guy
Yes,
on
no
this
point.
round. So he's going to run up, put his hand on you, and cast Vampiric Touch. Let's call
Is it an attack or
It's attack.
roll? Okay.
That is going to be a natural 12 for an 18 to hit.
Just.
You take 3d6 necrotic damage, which is going to come to 12. And he gets 6 health. Okay. So, Declan, you can make a survival check to try and track Makud's whereabouts.
Sure. Can I do investigation instead? I'm not like tracking his footprints. I'm looking for evidence of
True, but I would say investigation is more like you're actually investigating something, like searching a room or whatever. I don't think it applies to following in the footsteps of someone.
That's fine. Figured out I ask. 22?
22, yeah, you think combined with like where you know the Mirages, you know Makud's, the path he would have taken. You know, Makud knows the quickest path because he never forgets. So you reckon you'd be able to stumble across the way Makud is going. But you're not sure how far along he would have got. He probably left about 15-20 minutes ago.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll be using my full, action mechanics to get there at 90 feet around.
Yeah, definitely.
Abrashmina will be following as fast as she can, but not as quickly as Douglas.
Cool. Makud.
Okay. Makud's looking pretty cut up upon and necrotized. He is gonna pop the Bastard of Igmuti and conjure an Earth Minotaur. So he's gonna tense both of his arms together around the maul, and then he's gonna do the pulling up motion while surrounded by people, and I think the sand that has been whirling around is gonna start coalescing.
Toads. And it's lava rock because the ground is lava.
Lava rock, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yes, there will be cracking, and then something that looks akin to fingers forming out the lava rock, and then pulling itself free, so there is a completely pitch
and there's little
black,
bits of it that are still molten and slowly solidifying because it's still super hot.
but it looks like a giant version of him, and it is.
I mean, Makud's a
Next
giant
level.
version of Makud, so
Sure, an even bigger
double
version of
Makud.
Makud. Next to these people.
Cool.
So I imagine Makud is standing, and it's gone the other side
Cool.
of
Back
their
to back.
front line. Yeah, that kind of thing.
I love it. So I trust you can control.
I will
Elemental.
have to go look at Earth Elemental again. Earth Elemental. Are we just having a go on my turn again?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool.
And it can it act immediately? I can never
I
remember.
believe it can, because you're
Yeah,
meant to
because
roll
it goes on
initiative
its
for
own
it.
initiative. Yeah, so yeah,
Yeah.
it can go straight away.
Okay, so
Comes out
he does
swinging.
the pulling motion. It comes up behind him, almost just pulls itself out of the ground. Is probably quite terrifying.
Definitely.
And I don't know about the ceiling situation, but it's probably pretty close to it. It
Yeah.
will make. Okay, I was just looking at all the various things it can do.
Anything you want.
Anything I want. That is a 26 to hit on the first slam, and then a 23 to hit on the second slam.
Both hits. Who's he going for? A brute, a hunter, or the spellblade?
I think the spell dude. In this case, the spell dude has got up close and personal.
Yeah.
So like, as he like Vamp touches and is like, haha, this huge fist is just like coming
Yeah.
down towards him. And that is 16 damage. No, yes, 16 damage. And then max damage for 21.
Ooh.
So 36 damage all told. Those were two very high hits.
So this spellblade runs up to you and like you see this black energy just sucking from your body and into his hand, and you see this sort of, he grits his teeth happily and then looks down and sees this gigantic minotaur come up beneath it, and it just like scoops him up on his horns, impales him and throws him off to the side dead, and lets out like this puff of like sulfuric steam from its nostrils and rounds on the next person. So brute number 1 and hunter number 1 are both going to go for the earth elemental because they were the ones that were behind you. So that's going to be a 16 plus 6, 22 to hit, and a 14 to hit.
It has the same armor as I do, which is 17.
Interesting. So one hit from the brute. That's going to be minimum damage. So 4 damage. So this brute just like runs up screaming like ting off its stony hide. Hunters 2 and 3 are going to try and deal with Makood. That's going to be a miss. That's going to be 1 hit for 22. So that is going to be 5 slashing damage. And then the other 2 brutes, that is going to be a miss for 14, a miss for 12, and a hit for 17.
On the money.
Lovely. And this hunter, that's going to be 10 piercing and 7 sneak attack.
You did the hunters. These were the 2 brutes.
Oh, these were the brutes. My apologies. So that is
just 10 piercing.
no, it'll be 5 piercing because I rolled the wrong die.
Okay.
And that is their go.
Okay. Lots of the virtues running through streets. I'm guessing they're not here
montage.
yet.
No, I mean you've been gone for about 15-20 minutes, so it is going to take them.
There's no way we're gonna get there in time to do anything.
Yeah, not a problem. How rough are people looking?
So 1 hunter and 1 brute are unhurt but terrified. 1 brute looks like he's about to fall apart, and the others look very rough from the lava, like all burned. Their clothes and cloaks are all ruined, and they're looking extremely haggard.
All the brutes I'm picturing as Fenzik, and all the hunters I'm picturing as Inigo Montoya.
You love it.
I'm on the brute squad.
You are the brute squad.
I'm actually contemplating using a potion. That is not something I normally do.
Bounded accuracy, man.
Yeah, like I said, like we're not going to be there in time to do any kind of help. So
I know. I never usually resort to potions. I just go swinging at the thing, but.
Makood's like, I'm not sure I want this job. And tries to leave.
Oh, go on then. I never use a potion. I'm actually kind of interested to use one.
Which potion?
I have a choice. Potion of healing is not going to do enough. Could go greater.
You have a
Do-
superior, right?
I have a supreme written down here, which is an insane amount of hit points.
I mean, it seems like the time.
Seems like a shame to waste it though on thugs, but
Right, but if you die, well, I guess we could raise you, but
Uh,
we get there.
also Makud wouldn't be precious. I don't feel it's just me being precious because I never use
Yeah.
potions, so he'll go for the big one. Why not?
Yee.
Turns out it's a potion of poison. He's had one of those before. It just ends him.
Love it.
Holy shit, those were quite good rolls for the first set. I have quite a few of these to roll. It's a hefty potion. Nice. So 18, 26, 30 hit points.
Boom.
Plus the 20, so 50 hit points.
So Makud, you're feeling kind of beaten down, cut, your blood kind of pouring out of you. You down this potion, and you immediately feel this warmth in your chest, and like you look down at the cuts on your arms and chest, and they all just immediately, like as you watch, begin to scab over. And you feel like that kind of like slow aching in your muscles that comes from like hefting this hammer just immediately evaporates. You feel like you've just had like a 15-hour sleep and you're ready for action. You are feeling good. There's a definite like euphoria and like adrenaline rush that comes with it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now
And
he's going to take potions all the time.
turns out healing potions are addictive, and Makud is like in the gutter.
If Declan will eventually find me just having drinking a shower dry of healing potions.
So I usually make drinking potions a bonus action.
It's supposed to be an action.
Yeah, but I always just feel like it sucks on your turn if all you can do is drink a potion. So I'm happy for it to be a bonus.
That is one of the things that makes a thief special, though.
A high level thief that no one ever plays thief anyway.
It's true.
I don't mind. Either way.
It's your game, Rob. I was just fucking with you.
I'm just trying to remember if anyone's drunk a potion before in this
You
game.
usually bonus action it. You did in the
Yeah.
first campaign, at least.
Yeah, bonus action for
Yeah.
yourself. It's an action to give it to someone else.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a rule I would play. Okay,
I like that rule.
yeah,
Cool.
go for it. Spank
He
away.
filled with exhilaration. I might as well. We're gonna swing Great Weapon Master on these and make them reckless because he's high as fuck on this potion.
Are you going for the dweeb who's almost dead before you, or one of the guys with more health?
The guy in front of me, the dweeb.
The
First.
dweeb.
So that is 23 minus 5 for 18 to hit.
Hit.
Okay. This guy's probably gonna hurt. 9, 16, 21, 31 damage.
He had 2 hit points.
He now has 2 hit points less.
Yeah. He is brown.
I will then reckless the next dude.
Yeah. So Makud just like, this guy gets up, he's looking almost dead. Makud, you just like smash his jaw off, like that one scene with the polar bears fighting in Golden Compass, and it just like goes flying off, hits the back wall and drops, and he just stumbles backwards.
Okay. I rolled 2 14s plus 9.
Hits.
So 23 minus down to 18 again for the next guy, actually. 5, 9, 16, 26 damage.
26. Okay, so you hit one guy, another brute, and like you see is like he's wearing this sort of breastplate, and it like you could see like rings just falling off it, and it kind of cracks and like falls open. That was a hard hit, and he stumbles back like gasping because he's winded.
It's then the lava minotaur.
Lava Minotaur.
He's just going to punch the next guy closest. Not that page, not that page.
That'd be the
plus
brute behind you.
21 and
Hits.
18
Hits.
again. No, 17, sorry.
Hits.
17 hit?
Yeah.
Okay.
17 is also their AC.
Fair enough. Everyone has 17.
Everyone has 17.
2d8 plus 5. 9, 12 damage. And 15 damage.
Okay. So this guy's finally starting to be hurt. He was as of yet untouched, as is the
Okay.
hunter behind him. Those two are going to take attacks on the Minotaur Golem. It's going to be a 19 to hit from the brute
Hits.
for 8 points of damage, and a rubbish 15 to hit from the hunter.
Okay, well, he has 17 AC, so...
Yeah. So before you is one hunter and one brute. So there's 4 left in total. The hunter, or the brute, charges in, wanting to strike back, and he does with a 25 to hit for 8 slashing damage.
Sorry, is that on the lava miner or
That's
Mac?
on you, sorry.
Okay. Did you just hit the lava miner, didn't you?
Yes.
Did you roll damage? I didn't hear any.
Yes. Oh no, he missed.
There was one hunter, one brute. I thought one of them hit. At
Yeah,
least.
one of them hit for 8.
8 damage. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Sorry.
5 plus 3. No worries. It's so many numbers I'm throwing at you.
Yeah. So one just hit Mac. Did you say?
Yeah, for a 17 total.
Yes, just
to
hits.
hit. And the damage was an 8 on the die for a 12 slashing.
Cool.
And the hunter, that's going to be a 24 to hit for
Hit.
9 piercing and 7 as the sneak attack. I don't know if the sneak attack is halved or not.
It's still mundane
Yeah.
damage.
Okay. So yeah, 7 sneak attack and
Because
9.
the sneak attack counts as the damage of the weapon.
Okay,
it's done with.
gotcha. So 16
Okay.
overall, half to 8.
7, 3, 4. Right.
And it's the turn of the Minotaur boys.
Yes, Mac goes again. Dude in front of him. He's going to continue recklessing basically for the rest of this fight.
Oh shit, they should
That-
have had advantage. No worries.
Oh yes, you should have.
It's all good, I forgot.
16, just missed.
Just missed.
Next, 21.
Hits.
So hit and damage and Even with the minus... No, the -5, it wouldn't hit. Just, right?
Yeah.
It would just miss. So he misses both of those on that round.
Okay. So that guy kind of dances backwards out of the way. He's still looking determined, but he is like clutching his arm to him painfully. You think it's probably broken.
And there is one slam attack. The other misses. That was not the greatest round. Uh, 16 damage from Lava Miner
16.
on the guy who was pummeling.
Team Stone and Beef is not looking good this round. So, Brute on the Elemental is going to be a 25 for 11 points of slashing.
Okay.
Hunter is going to be a 16, so miss. Brute on you gets advantage, so that's going to be a 19 or a... Okay, we'll go with a 19. And that is going to be a 10 points of slashing on Makud. And the Hunter is going to be a 21 or 21 on Makud for rubbish damage. 3, 9, 12 piercing.
Is that total, counting the sneak?
Yeah.
Right. 11 more.
They're
Right.
definitely starting to look like worn down. This fight was way harder than they were expecting. They were kind of just planning on all shoving knives in your back, but Makud is not so easily defeated.
No. He is... Well, feeling exhilarated by that potion and combat and blood, and I imagine there's lots of the lava has been pounded up into dust and it's
Yeah.
swirling around, and oh, that hit big time. Even with that was an 18 on the dice.
Nice.
Even with the Great Weapon Master thing, that'll easily hit. Like a 22. I will do that attack. 5, 10, 17, 27.
Oh. Okay. He is still up.
Still standing. Okay, another reckless attack coming in. +9. That will be a hit on an 18.
Okay. Yeah.
Dead, I presume.
He also had 2 hit points remaining. Yeah.
Yeah. 5, 7, 14, 24 damage. So yeah.
So the landscape as it stands after that, we'll do the Makud troll in a moment. There's 2 hunters left. Only one of them is targeting you, and there's 1 hunter and 1 brute left behind fighting the elemental.
Okay.
The elemental is blocking the door at the moment.
The elemental actually hits both times. So, it has a +8 to hit, which is not too shabby. 12 damage and 12. 14 damage.
14.
12 and 14, 2 different attacks.
Damn. Okay.
On the brute that it's pounding.
Yeah, he's looking rough. Yeah, and so as quick cut back to the other group, like Declan's far ahead. You can hear like a few streets away the sounds of conflict, but it's still too far to be able to intervene. And you guys are just kind of charging through the streets. Back.
Sorry, I was just 20. Yeah, okay. Never mind. I don't have anything.
Okay. Sorry about having a long-ass Makud only fight.
I think he deserves it.
Yeah, he's been
He's
pining
been a
for
very
the battle.
patient boy.
You had a brute and a hunter on the
Yeah.
Mino, and then
Yeah.
hunter on Mac.
So,
Cool.
Hunter on Makud, he doesn't get sneak attack anymore. That's a natural 19, no, 25. He is like frantically firing his crossbow. 9 slashing. Brute on the McElemental. That's going to miss. And that's going to hit with the Hunter for 10.
Sounds like a McDonald's sandwich.
13 piercing on the Hunter. On the Elemental from the Hunter.
Okay. 59 and 13 total. 33. So, Makud, is he engaged with the last brute? Or
With the last brute, no. So the last brute.
that's around the other side of the guy.
Yeah, the last brute is engaged with the elemental.
Okay.
The guy who's targeting you is that hunter in the corner, cowering for his life.
Sure. None of the original guys who walked him through the door are still alive?
Yeah.
Or is that the last?
So the
Okay.
two guys who led you in the door are the two fighting the elemental. Because they were sort of behind you as they came in.
I will charge that last guy that is on me for sake of simplicity. He's going to do a reckless charging horn attack on the guy, try to smash him into the wall. Still no crits. Where have all my crits gone?
You'll do a history check later and you'll crit.
Sure, probably will. 25.
Hits.
Horn attack. 7, 9, 14 damage, and gonna make a push. DC 16 to like slam him into the wall.
Yeah, do it. That's gonna be a pass. Natural 14.
God damn it. Strength check. They're still strong boys, even if they're using crossbows,
Yeah.
I guess. I will then miss with the Great Weapon Master Mole Strike.
No. You're McElemental?
Yes, sorry, 1 second.
No worries.
How far away are we?
At this point, like, maybe the majority of a kilometer. Like, maybe 2-3 minutes away.
1 hit. $12 again. Seems to be the elemental's thing.
Damage.
Yeah, 12 damage. He hit once for 12.
Cool.
You'll go?
He only gets... Yeah, okay. So, 18 to hit Makud with a crossbow. 9 points of damage.
If he's shooting at a guy... Well, I suppose I was reckless, so he'd be shooting evenly.
Oh, yeah, it's evened out, I guess, isn't it?
Yes.
23 for the brute against the elemental.
Did you... Sorry, what damage did you do with the crossbow to Mac?
9.
9. Cool.
And also 9 to the elemental from the brute. And 25 on the elemental from the dweeby little hunter. He's going to get 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 piercing on the elemental.
Okay.
It's Team Stone Beef.
So...
Makud took 9.
47. Yeah, I'm just trying to do the math for both of them. 56. Okay. Mac, mole time. recklessly. Oh, misses the first one. Finally, fucking crits the second one.
Boom.
This is... Do I have a brutal critical yet? Not till 11, I think. I don't see it on my sheet, though. Just double the dice. Uh, 45 damage.
Describe how you kill him.
So yeah, he charged him, and the guy kind of like resisted that, and then there was like, I think he went for the same gut strike, and it like hits the wall as he kind of like moves. So Makud kind of like tosses him slightly, pushes him slightly to one side, and then swings Maul up and round in like a really wide arc, and then down.
Just
Wait
puts
for the
his head in
critical
his
just on top of
ribcage.
him. Basically, just head ground, nothing
Yeah.
in between.
And Makud turns to see the elemental battling, and you're both like covered in crossbow bolts.
Yes.
Though like
I
lots of them fell off you when you took the healing potion, but there's more peppering you. A lot at this point. It's gonna suck to take them out. But Makud's a badass, so.
Makud shouts out, because those are the original two. We killed them. Is that the job?
So your elemental is blocking the door for them, otherwise they would be running.
Sure.
So they're sort of cowering, but still trying to defend themselves. Does the elemental get attacks?
Yes. I just shouted at them to see if
Yeah,
they'd anything, but if they're
Yeah,
too
no,
busy
they're-
fighting a lava minotaur, which is
Yeah.
understandable.
All they can hear at the moment is the blood rushing in their ears.
Hits twice. 17 damage on the first one. Oh, pretty well. The next one is pretty well as well. 18 damage. 17
What is
and
with
18
you and
damage.
putting all these enemies at 2 health? So the first one puts them at 2 health. So you're like, was that the job? And then you just see the elemental just punch one hand, and it just goes through the dude's stomach, and then the other hand just comes around and punches his head and snaps his neck. And he just falls, and there's like viscera left on the hand of the minotaur. He like turns slowly to the as of yet unharmed hunter, who is like shaking, and his crossbow is like clickety clacketing, and he sort of like says, and he's gonna take a shot at Makud.
Oh, okay. If he said yes, like Makud was
You guys stupid.
But yeah.
17 to hit, 13 damage.
Does he have to
13.
concentrate on the elemental?
No.
No. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, because it's not a spell, as I got reminded several times during that combat.
Another one. Okay.
It doesn't say you cast summon elemental.
No.
Just
It
makes a
says
guy.
you make an elemental as with the summon elemental spell. I.e., it's an ability that has the same effect as a spell.
And technically, the elemental didn't go crazy when Makud went down to the lash, so
Yeah.
it's something a bit different, I guess. Okay, I took the damage.
Then it's your go.
Okay. Okay then. Is the job to kill you too? I can do that.
No.
He's like advancing. If he says no, he's like, oh, the job is done then.
Yes. The the job now is to let me go from this room.
But I did the job, so there should be payment, right?
Oh yes. He like fishes for a coin purse and like throws it at you, and he says, "And you can have their gold too, but I have to go, in case there is another job."
He can't go anywhere because the elemental.
The elemental is just like
wedged in his
standing,
room.
arms folded, in front of like an Anubis statue, just standing in front of the doorway.
Well, what is your name in case you want to give me more jobs so I can find you again?
My name is Joubert.
Very well, Joubert. And he like walks forward, like holds the maul out in one hand and like gives his hand across for a shake, like.
You get a very weak handshake.
Yeah.
From quotation marks, Joubert and quotation marks.
Yeah.
Just shakes your hand. Thank you,
yeah.
Amarutu. Can I go now?
Yeah, I think so. See you again, I guess. And he kind of like beckons slightly for the elemental to just like chug, 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 move aside.
And he just will take off like a fucking shot.
Yeah. Come back when you have another fight for the champion.
Just like, I imagine you say that, there's like a moment of silence, and then the dude you pummeled into the wall just slowly peels off and falls on his face. Like that Deadpool, like, he was there when I got there, and he falls off the sign. And by the power of narrative, a couple moments later, you see Declan like huffing, gasping for air, like arrive at the door and kind of peer in and just see this scene of utter carnage.
My gods. You all right, Makood?
You see him like covered in wounds and crossbow bolts.
Yeah,
Lava
he
rock
does not look
covering
healthy
the floor.
right now. And this is not the only time he's looked this bad.
Yeah.
So
he's covered in crossbow bolts, cuts, some of which are scabbed over. The floor is actually lava, but solidified. There's a giant stone version of Makood standing looking at you, doing like the Groot smile, I imagine.
yeah.
And 6 corpses, all looking very much like they've died from an overdose of bludgeoning damage.
Abrishmin will be along shortly to see to your wounds. What happened?
And he kind of like points out the door, like waves. These 2 guys, they wanted all of these guys killed in this room, it seems. And well, his friend, and he like points to the like most of what is remaining on the like golems that
So that was
Lavamanto's fist or something.
That was the dude.
His friend didn't make it, but he was very thankful and said I could have his gold. And all their gold.
Makood, I think those men meant to kill you.
They tried.
I don't think they meant to offer you a job.
He said his name was Joubert. I said if he had any more work. They had a good fight, actually. And he's like stretching out a little, and like crossbow bolts are kind of like breaking as he's like stretching his muscles a bit.
Makood treats like a murderous ambush like a game of pickup basketball.
I'm gonna... Declan sort of like goes, and he's gonna begin going through the bodies and seeing if he can find any evidence of who these people were.
So, first of all, Makood, that sack of gold, you got 43 gold and 17 silver from that little escapade.
Jesus.
From all of the gold, from all of the
No,
pouches?
just that one bag.
Just his.
How much silver?
17.
That was well worth it. Well worth it.
I
Potion
mean,
that you had
that's
to
only
down.
one out of 7 bags of gold.
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
So yeah, they all have various amounts of gold on them, and you end up finding from the 6 bodies on the floor, so not including the bag Makud got, 232 gold and 78 silver.
Okay. I imagine he had, some time to
Yeah.
go
So
through.
yeah, Declan. The thing about this is all of the bodies are wearing identical black cloaks.
Mm-hmm.
And you find when you're kind of searching the who Makud tells you was a magical caster, you do find like a small arcane focus on him, which is a rock with a hole in the center. And it looks very mundane to you, but there's like if for the magically inclined, they'd easily be able to tell its use. You also, on him, find a very small scroll of parchment with the name Amar Utu at the top, and then below that descriptions of Abrashmina and Bryn, but no names. And then at the very bottom you see like just like another bullet point that just says like the mask.
Declan's going to sit or stand and ponder and sort of wait for the other two to show up.
Yeah, it doesn't take long.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he had an extra 30 feet on us per round, so
True,
like
true.
it's probably like a
5-10.
like, yeah. And finally, like Abarashmina is like arrives, not quite as huffy puffy because her constitution is better. She's more of a marathon runner now, apparently.
Yeah,
But,
she's all
yeah.
skinny and tall, I guess.
Yeah. And she'll like see Makud covered in crossbow bolts and you're like, Makud, what happened? And like, immediately come over and cast some cure wounds. How bad are you sitting at this point?
Right now, this time around, it's 69 damage out of 86.
Oh,
And
boy.
when I took the potion, I had 5 health.
Oh, my-
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it was a good idea to go with the superior.
So
I I wouldn't have survived on the greater. I just wouldn't have.
Yeah, that's going to be cure wounds at a 4th level then. So
that's
that
like 98 points of damage.
Yeah. So you did what? 81 the first time
16,
round.
17, yeah. So
and then
yeah,
another-
98.
I think like another 39. I think it was 81 and then 39 damage because I went down to.
You went
about
down to
30.
69, did you?
Hey, that's
After-
28 points
No,
of healing
I'm
before
69
you
now.
like make me
28 points.
forget my maths with all these numbers that you're.
Makud took a good Makud and a half of damage.
Yeah, because I went to
Oh.
81 and then healed for 50 back down to 31, and then you've taken me back to 69. So it was actually 38 damage on top of 81 damage. So 119 damage.
Yeah, 119. Holy moly.
Bear in mind that's damage I took and not I resisted.
Yeah.
So that's probably what 170 odd
Okay.
damage or something, maybe.
more than that. I think
More.
the witch bolt or from magic, I think you only took
And the
about
necro.
20, 25.
Something
Hey,
like that.
so how are you sitting after 28 and 14?
28 and 14.
Yeah, because you're
42
doing a lot of math.
points.
So you got a third level healing while Makud was distracted by something.
So 42 points of healing.
Yeah.
Puts me at 27 out of 86. So about a third. He's still like filled with crossbow bolts or whatever and some cuts and stuff, but it doesn't look life-threatening anymore.
Nothing
but
a short
I mean
rest
that-
can't fix.
Abarashmin is going to give you a little bit more. 17.
Just then,
Um,
the rest of the
another-
army comes in.
Another 23.
Oh my, you are fussing with code something. Great here.
Yeah.
He's down to 5 hit points taken in damage. So now it's paper cuts.
Yeah, and so like I kind of imagine that she's kind of like pressing on where he's got like the crossbow bolts as she's like casting cure wounds so that the bolts kind of like what like
Pop
some of
out of
them
him.
broke off yeah so that they pop out of him as she's healing him up.
I think while you were like, because you said what happened, and then you'd be fussing him, and he's like, these men, they wanted me to kill this room full of people, and that guy didn't make it. And he like again points to the Minotaur, giant lava Minotaur in the corner, covered in blood. But the last guy, he said that I could take all his money, and he gave me his money and said his name was Jubir, and he ran off.
Abrashmina looks
Makub,
up at
again.
Declan
Makub,
for the
Assassination.
translation.
They tried to kill you.
Again,
I'll
they
show
tried.
Abrashmina- Yes, I don't think they wanted to give you a job. They were lying to you. And I'll show both of them, and Bryn, if she's here, the list. It seems we have admirers. Mina, do you think you could draw any answers from any of these here? Gestures to the bodies on the ground.
Oh, Abrashmina kind of blinks and is, yes, I can.
This one here had the scroll upon him with our names. It might be your best bet.
All right. It will take me some time to do. And she's gonna like kind of open up like her satchel and pull out some incense and get like her holy symbol ready and what have you. I can only ask a few questions. They only know what
We have met.
They will only know what they know, and they can lie to me. So that is something to.
Could it be combined with some other magic to prevent them from lying?
I am not sure. I cannot. I would not be able to. I do not think I could sustain such magics at the same time as casting this.
Is Zone of Truth the concentration?
It is, but it is concentration, but it lasts for 10 minutes, and Speak with Dead
Can you guys
takes
hear me?
10 minutes. Yes, I can hear you. Can you not hear me?
Declan!
Hello?
Mr. Declan!
Mr.
Declan!
Oh, also, Rob, you did 56 damage to the lava Minotaur
Boom.
on top of that. Although it has 126 health, so
Yeah, he wasn't going
it did
anywhere.
work. No,
Can
not
you-
really. But that was extra damage you did in that fight. That was a lot.
Can you hear me now, Dylan?
Declan!
I can hear you guys now. I think I dropped out or something. Yeah.
Okay.
Zone
hear
of
me?
Truth only lasts for 10 minutes, and Speak with Dead takes 10 minutes to cast, so Abrashmina cannot maintain both at the same time.
Okay.
Someone at old Wizards of the Coast was thinking about that when they made those two spells.
Yeah.
You
No,
will
let's
need
not
2
say-
clerics to
Yes,
pull that off.
or a cleric and a bard.
Could this be combined with Brittle's telepathic powers?
Do not know. Can you? I'm not sure if can your abilities work on the dead.
I've actually never tried it before.
Suppose it is a good time to find out.
It's worth a try.
So what would you like me to ask?
Who hired them? First and foremost, where they can be found, and what their agenda is. Why they were hired, I suppose.
Is it 3 questions you get?
5.
5. Very nice. Do you
All right.
cast it?
Yeah. I'm just.
Who, what, where, why, how?
Yes, Makud, if you do not mind. They might be afraid if they see you and the elemental.
Okay. He's going to wander up into the elemental, following him as it smashes it into the street of of town.
Is there like not another room or anything like that
No,
that he could go
it's a
into?
one-room deal.
Okay.
It's a 40-foot basement.
It's
Yeah.
basically I don't want the guy to come back into his body, see Makud, and still think that he's in the fight and freak out.
Yeah.
So
Can we like prop him up in such a way that Makud's like behind him or something?
yes, that'll work. That's
left.
a good idea.
Told to leave, he left. And the mum
She said
followed
out
into
of
the street.
she said out of sight, but okay.
It's fine. It
But
doesn't
yeah.
make a huge difference.
Yeah, Makud's just in the street now with, a 10, 15 tall lava minotaur. It's
Just like,
you did pretty good in that. They
Abrashmina is
fist
going.
bump a bunch.
Abrashmina is going to set some mood lighting though, so that it doesn't quite look like the place that he died.
mhm.
So like thaumaturgy to cast out the light, so that whenever the spirit comes into the body, they'll just see like Abrashmina being all grave cleric and spoopy with her weird
Dope.
white eyes. Okay.
All right.
And so yeah, she's gonna like sit all lotus style and get the incense out, and she's going to begin casting the spell. And so she's gonna be like doing the like lighting the incense and kind of blowing the smoke towards the corpse so that it's breathing it in, even though it's not drawing breath.
So you see the corpse sitting there, and at the end of the ritual, it slowly draws in one huge, long, deep breath and holds that in. That
Am I
is
gonna
all
cast
the
Detect
air it
Thoughts?
gets. So you cast Detect Thoughts, and your mind is flooded with absolutely nothing. Endless blackness in all directions.
And Abrashmina will sit there quietly staring at the body and
Ask your questions.
will say, "You have passed down and you are being witnessed. I am a servant of He who watches, and how you behave or how cooperative you are in the next few moments may determine whether or not you pass into his endless night."
He stares at you slack-jawed, eyes not moving, his whole body waiting to answer a question.
Yeah. Who hired you to kill my friend?
We work for Riga.
Where
Who
may
is
we...
Riga?
Yeah, no. Where may we find Riga?
Do I get? I don't get. I'm suggesting, not speaking for you.
Yeah.
Riga lives on the docks.
Why did he want Amar Utu and the virtues dead?
They have been disrupting criminal organizations.
Is Riga the leader of one of these organizations?
Yes.
What is everything you know about Riga and his organization?
We smuggle drugs and slaves into Ashar.
We who wear the black cloaks are his guards. He is very wealthy and does not take kindly to those operating on his patch.
And with that last word, his whole body just slumps over.
Abrashmina will close her eyes and say, "This has been witnessed," and like do like a one of like the he who watches rituals for death rituals.
Seems we have a new adversary.
Add him to the list.
GA, if you're wondering.
We do.
R-I-G-A.
Like the capital of Latvia.
R-I-G-A?
Riga or
Riga.
I thought it was
Riga.
Rigar.
No.
Riga.
R-I-G-A. Riga.
Riga.
Where I've been, actually.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds like there's an R at the end of that name.
Only if you're American.
Yeah.
You hear the heavy footsteps of a giant
Clunk,
fiery
clunk,
minotaur
clunk,
like
clunk,
walk
clunk,
down the
clunk,
street because Makut got bored and has carried on walking home.
Hey, you're Amo Ushi, right? I got a job for you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
sweet.
2 jobs, 1 night. Excellent.
Makut's like, hey, they keep saying that wasn't a job, but it had offer, acceptance, and consideration. So it was a contract.
And
So,
they-
you know, it was perfectly reasonable.
And I killed a bunch of people trying to kill me. That's just the
That's-
Vakar.
That's
all
how
over
jobs
again.
work.
Yeah.
I'm freelance now.
Abrashmina is going to turn to Bryn and ask, were you able to sense anything?
All I got was the blackness, right? I wasn't
Mhm.
able to sense anything.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
That is
Sorry.
that is not unsurprising. But it is good to know.
Yeah. Like, this spell is not bringing someone back to life temporarily to ask some questions. It is like the body becomes a
still dead.
puppet. Yeah.
Yeah. It
There
was
is
worth-
there is no mind there for you to read.
Yeah. I could do that one more time, but then after helping Makut, I will not be able to do any more. Do
we
you wish
think
to ask any of the others, or do we think this one would know the most?
I think it would be worth doing if there are specific questions that we can think of.
I cannot think of many, but this is a bit more on your purview. Declan, what would you have asked him had he still been alive?
Many questions. How many more of the Black Cloaks are there? What do they know of our numbers and power? Do they know of the Six Eyes? Are they connected to the Preacher or to the Lashed?
I can probably say that they probably do know of the Six Eyes. They are a known commodity, I think, in the underworld of Ashar. Whether or not they are connected with the Preacher, that is unknown. But did you not say that most of your own dealings, his group was very insolent, was it not?
The Preacher's group.
Yes.
From what I can understand, yes.
So that is perhaps only 2 questions that might be worth asking, but it is possibly something that Sharat might know if this is a known organization. Now that we have a name, we have a bit more that we can ask.
Indeed. There are questions upon questions, but I will not ask you to expend your energies anymore. We have other avenues available to us.
I do not think we should leave Makut up there too long with his new friend.
No,
Stumped,
agreed.
stumped.
Is there anything else in this room besides the men and their possessions?
Make me an investigation check.
Oh,
I will do that too.
Can I just assist Declan?
You may.
Declan will have guidance.
Yay!
18 plus 10 is 28.
So it looks like a fairly kind of standard like safe household out. You know, it's got basic amenities like rations. You find a couple bottles of very nice whiskey, and behind, like in a small cabinet, you find like a tiny half bottle of mine wine.
Nice.
Ooh.
Is
It's
is whiskey an Ashari thing?
No,
Were all the guys here Ashari, or were they not?
they were. They're all Ashari.
Is the name Riga an Ashari name?
Make me a history check.
20.
Riga doesn't strike you as particularly Ashari. If someone told you it was Ashari, you'd be like, okay, fair enough. But it sounds more like an Atreshi name to you.
Atreshi. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that a nearby country?
So, if Lament is like the shape vaguely of America, Atresh is like South America, but much skinnier. So it is like, it is in line with Ashar. So it's pretty near Ashar, or it's a bit south and west of Ashar, but it's like all rainforest.
Okay.
Is that a name that that Abrashmina recognizes from any of her dealings with backstory things?
Not in a vacuum. You can make me a history check again if you like.
Okay. I have not heard of this man. That was a 4. Now, we go up to see Makut.
I told you Makoon's already left.
Like, gone?
Yeah, you sent him out of the room of a bunch of people that murdered him, so he couldn't take part in whatever went down there. So he left.
Makud is
He walked off with his big new friend that helped him.
He's being piggybacked by Stone Makud.
What I really want is for them to get outside the bar, him to realize he doesn't want him smashing in, and then come out with drinks. So he's like sitting in the street across from this thing that is like 12, 15 feet tall, sat down, and he's just talking to it. I don't like. Technically, elementals know Terran. I don't know if that still holds true, or if he can communicate with it. It must understand him somehow.
It can understand you because you have the maul.
But
it can't speak to you.
Sure. I don't like
Such
because
good
he doesn't
listener.
necessarily know like where the powers are coming from, and because it like took Minotaur form and things, he was just trying to like treat it as an ancestor, like
Yeah.
as something that is fought by his side. So he's just like talking to it, like he would a family member.
You know my great-great-granddad killed a dragon?
Spoilers. He doesn't know. He doesn't know who that Minotaur was.
I mean, he doesn't, but everyone else was all like, ancestor visions. But Makud maybe didn't.
I feel like
I don't
even
know.
Makud could have extrapolated that.
I mean,
sure?
some of the Minotaurs said that you had powerful ancestors after you told them what your vision was. I got the impression that it was a relative.
It was your famous ancestor, Takum.
I mean, it could have been, but there was no confirmation as to that. It could have been anybody. He's just talking to it, just telling it stories or whatever. Or I imagine not many people could get by in the street, and that luckily most of the street is deserted anyway.
And
But
Makud's just like, this one time at band camp, we killed like a centipede frost fire monster.
Okay, well then we get up to the street and see that Makud is gone.
I feel like we should do something about all these bodies.
That is probably a good idea.
Um,
I can.
it's all right. I've got it.
No,
Um,
because I can't remember, but oh wait, I don't have. No, I guess I didn't. I don't have anything that can take care of that.
I've got it.
Okay.
Declan's gonna put his hand on the ground and open up a 5-foot hole.
Yes, thank you.
Um,
That is what I was going to say.
and I'll just spend a few minutes, dragging the bodies in and folding them up and putting them in, and
John Wayne Gacy style.
a little bit.
That is totally something my druid has done in a game, by the way. It's like, oh no, we're being framed for murder. Well, they can't frame us for murder if there's no body.
And then once everybody's in the hole, is the floor still like ruined looking?
Yeah, big time.
Floor is
Okay.
lava.
Yeah.
Literally.
So what I would like to do then is form a new floor with wall of stone, so that it just smooths over.
I'm not sure it's going to do like a 40-foot by 40-foot room, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's a number of panels that I can pretty much shape however I want.
maybe.
I'll say you can make it look better. It still looks a little bit hinky, but it's like flat now. But I don't know if you can like, Sims the house and design it.
Well, no. Just like
You probably
make a
have
new
enough
floor.
panels, but the floor is really uneven, and it might
Yeah.
not match the door quite, like the door
Yeah.
floor level. But why is there
So
a
I
step
create-
up here? Who knows?
And the other thing
10,
is,
10
it'll
by
take you
10 by 10
ages because there's a shitloads of like ruined furniture in there, so you'd have to like lift it up when you put a panel down. Otherwise, it'll just get like swallowed or whatever. But yeah, you can make it look passable.
Okay, yeah. As long as it holds up to a cursory inspection.
Yeah. Like no one's gonna
Okay.
looking at it, no one's gonna be like, a Minotaur must have summoned lava and killed a load of people in here. Like
Right.
you've
It
got
looks
it to
like
a
shoddy
point.
workmanship.
Yeah, it looks just like a weird shitty house now.
Like most of the show.
Yeah, kinda.
Well, do we want to go back to the trove, or do we want to keep an eye on? Are we done for the evening?
I would still very much like to observe the trove tonight. If you don't feel up for it, that's fine.
I think I'd prefer to head back to the Mirage.
Yes, I do not think that there is anything that I could assist you with in watching them, unless. No, unless you kill anyone, I probably can't help you. But you do not plan on going in tonight without us, yes?
Of course not. You have my word.
All right.
And so
Be careful. There are obviously people after us.
Yes. Thank you for your concern. I promise to be careful.
So you guys return to the Mirage, and you find McCood's elemental, who I'm going to call Fries, just so that we can have a Big Mac and fries.
How long does the elemental last?
Is it like an hour?
Yeah.
That's what I was going off the idea of.
Yeah, an hour. So you just like, they're just like hugging or whatever, doing what McCood does.
I imagine he sat up against the far side of the street, and McCood is like sat against the door, not against the door directly, but against like just beside the door, drinking, and they're just talking across the street.
I have just
But like the street isn't that big.
Yeah. I have just the funniest image of McCood sitting next to the elemental, and they both like, the elemental has a drink, and they both like, it follows McCood's motions as it drinks, but just pours the liquid against its face and it dribbles down.
As we are walking back, since there is an active contract out on our lives, Abrashmina is going to be a little bit more mindful as we are moving.
Okay.
Is anyone following us?
Make me a perception check.
That is a natural 20 for a 28.
So, as you go, you do spot, like, a kind of guy, black cloak, kind of, like, leaning against an alley wall, and he sort of sees you, and then, like, turns and walks down, like, rolls around the corner of the alley and disappears as soon as he sees you.
Brushmina will point him out to Bryn. I believe he is one of them. Should we go after him?
You just told me not to go off alone.
She might be a little bit of a hypocrite.
I don't think that would be wise. I need to get a little bit more information about them.
They are definitely watching. We should be careful. Abrashmina is now in full paranoia mode.
I mean, if Makud can take 7 of them at once.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking that, like, you know, Abrashmina might be a little tapped, but she still has, oh man, why did I use my spell slots? I could have used my fucking staff to heal you. Anyway, I still have my staff, and, like, she might be a little tapped, but Bryn is fresh, so, like, you know, we could take one of it.
Fresh as hell.
We could take one.
And so you guys arrive back. No issues. Declan, you managed to pick out which boat is the Trove. It's this big old ship. There's no sails or rigging on the mast. They're just bare, and it like bobs, and you can see it's tied up with like loads and loads of ropes, so it doesn't move. Like even with the tide. And it just sort of kind of sits there. It looks pretty well cared for, but very old. And you see there is a single chair on the deck with a small 3-legged table next to it on which stands a lantern that is maintained. And there is a man sitting in the chair, perfectly still, arms crossed. Then once on the hour, every hour, like clockwork, another person comes up, swaps places with him, and he goes back down. And they move very stiffly.
Can I insight check to see if they're
absolutely.
maybe not human or something?
Absolutely.
14 on the die puts it at 23.
These are humans, but they are very well trained. And they're the sort of person who, you know, military has always been in their life. And they have these long swords on their shoulders that are very unashari.
Go ahead.
With a 23, you do get the impression they do kind of remind you of, to some extent, Kolo, but less wild and much more receptive to their training. And as you watch, you get the impression that there's 3 of them on a rotation for this watch.
Okay, and when one of them is changed out, they go back below deck, or they leave the ship?
They go back below deck.
Okay. So, would Declan think that this ship and these people are some separate organization from the Preacher and the Lashed? Like,
these
these
do not seem like preacher folk. So either they're like hired,
or like a laundering.
It's a
kind of
laundromat.
Yeah.
Swiss
yeah.
bank.
Swift bank, yeah.
Swedish.
Yeah, I don't know.
So,
Leave me alone.
3 men on shift. I'm going to use my spyglass to get really good visuals of each of them. And then do sketches.
Okay.
So I have their faces.
All 3 are bald.
Mm-hmm.
And like have no facial hair of any kind. That kind of makes them look a bit similar, though. You can distinguish enough difference to make good sketches.
And they don't look Ashari?
All 3 are Ashari.
They are assuring. Okay.
Do they look like eunuchs?
I mean, Declan's perceptive, but I don't think he can see a penis bulge from.
I mean, some
I am
eunuchs,
explicitly
they-
trained in the fine art of penis dissection. I'll have you know.
You're looking for just the balls, though. They have.
That's true.
You don't know that.
And it messes
That's
with
a eunuch.
and it messes with hormones, so that there would be some sort of alterations to the face at some point. But anyways.
They look like fucking badasses.
That's the impression I'm getting.
100%.
Doesn't mean they can't be badass eunuchs.
No, they
But I have
like.
no reason to believe they are eunuchs.
There is nothing about them that would suggest whether or not they have a scrotum.
Okay.
Until one of them sits down and is like, "Oh, damn it, caught it."
Yeah, they're all man spread. So
Yeah.
Are there any? Does anybody come to make any deliveries or withdrawals from the ship?
not while you're watching.
Okay. So before he'd probably be done observing by around 2 o'clock in the morning, I imagine.
Okay.
And then head back. I don't know if anybody's awake.
I mean, I don't know exactly when the fight was, but Makud sits out with the lava mino until it crumbles into.
That's that's
Pieces
probably about
or
midnight
dust?
that it crumbles away.
Does it like completely go no trace, or is that just like pieces of lava mino just in a pile in the street?
A little
I
bit
kind of like the
sand.
visual of it, sort of like a gust of wind blows and it takes it away as kind of that like wisping dust,
Okay.
and it sort of returns to that Makud magic before dissipating.
I don't know. Makud sheds a tear or something. It
Yeah,
feels
maybe
like a
maybe
beautiful
like the
moment.
sand outside of the doorway to the Mirage is like peppered with black spots. So it's like black and orange kind of sand on the street.
Nice volcanic sand.
Yeah, boy.
Whenever Bryn and Abrashmina return, Abrashmina will tell Maku that she spotted another one of the black cloaked men, and also tell him what they learned during the ritual and stuff.
Oh, was
So
that Jubir? Maybe
Yes.
he has more work.
No, I do not think that Jubir was trying to hire you for work. It was an assassination attempt, Makut.
I mean, attempt is right. They tried, but I
Yes.
got paid anyway, so.
Win-win.
Yes.
And they died, and I did not. It is a good day.
Abrashmina will describe the man that was watching her and Bryn.
You didn't get a very good look at him. He had hood
I
up
didn't?
and everything.
Okay.
And it's dark as
Okay.
hell.
But didn't sound like Jubir.
I mean, you
Close
would have
down
no
mark.
way of knowing. Makud
yeah.
hasn't described Jubert to you.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I could attempt it.
Well,
Probably.
He
No,
was
it
very
was-
small.
It was
Had a
basically
face?
if Abrashmina had a good look at him, she would ask. But if she didn't, then there's no point.
He had 2 to 3 eyes. Definitely more than one nostril, I think.
Yeah.
Heavy set.
How
thin
many
guy.
tails do you humans have? I think there were 7.
He had hair, but it was strange. It was only on the top of his head.
Yeah.
Well, Abrashmina is going to tell Makud
You spotted
what
a black
the-
cloak.
yeah, and what we learned in like the ritual thing, and she's going to say, I do not think that you should follow any men wearing these black cloaks into secluded areas in the future. I do not think you should trust what they say.
You arrived while the Minotaur is still there, so he kind of like looks up to the Minotaur and imagine they like lock eyes for a moment, and then like he like looks back to you and he's like, but it was like the most fun I've had since I got back into the city.
I know, Makud. I understand that it has been perhaps a bit boring for you, but if something were to happen to you whenever I was not there to help you out, I would not be able to forgive myself. So please, if you are by yourself, do not follow any of these black cloaked men places.
And when you go by yourself, you're not going to follow them either?
She thinks about the fact that she like briefly wanted to chase after that guy, and
And also the fact you went off by yourself earlier today.
yeah. She will say, yes. If I am by myself, I will be extra careful around these men.
And you, Bryn?
Am I not gonna follow this black cloaked man?
Yeah.
Gods no, that sounds dangerous.
Yeah. He like was hoping you would like rally against the machine, but he's like, oh, okay. No following black cloaked men. Any other cloak though I can follow, right?
Well, Amrashmi kind of.
I mean, you said black cloaks.
I did. It is possible that they will wisen up to it at some point, but just be careful, Makud.
He kind of like shrugs it off and does the Makud always wins.
Okay.
It was pretty close though, wasn't it?
You don't know.
No, yeah, we don't know.
I mean, it looked pretty
Yeah,
close.
Makud looked, you know.
We came
He had a
in,
lot of
was
crossbow
full
bolts
of
in him.
arrows.
Yeah,
I don't want to do the maths, but it's like 15 to 20 crossbow bolts sticking out of him.
Abrashmina is very mindful of how much she had to heal him to get him
That's
looking
true,
normal.
that's true.
So she's like, I know that you do not always show it, and that you are very strong and remain standing no matter what the punishment that you may take. But again, if things had gone a little differently, it might not have been there in time to help you. Just, I do not want to lose you, Makut.
He kind of like snort, like looks away from you, looks down, like snorts, and like the dust kicks up and stuff. He's like,
I mean, I'm not saying that you cannot have your fun. Just be careful. There were a lot of men. You could have maybe run.
He like turns and looks at you. Like,
I know. But she's trying to caution wisdom to him, and I know it doesn't make sense, but you know, these are things that I feel Abrashmina needs to put in his head so that he has it available as a strategy option later, because he won't do it on his own. But if he remembers that whenever things go badly, Mina one time told him to run, he might consider it.
maybe for a minute.
Yeah, for a minute. A
Yeah.
minute.
Abrashmina said run. And then he just like charges the nearest dude.
Yeah, she didn't say which direction.
It's like, she always told me to use my head. Looks up at his horns. I see what she means.
She is right, because I have 2 horns, and that makes me twice as Makut.
You should stand down. And he starts digging away. Okay, he's drinking with his buddy.
Okay.
He just kind of like looks at you with the eyes wide. Like he doesn't say anything. It's just, but you can see it just run. What?
Yeah, at that point she kind of gives up.
He will come in when the beautiful volcanic sand moment happens. A few minutes after, at least.
Yeah. And like I imagine, just for dramatic effect, that like the like dust sand kind of blows away from the feet first, and as it sort of reaches his head, he just gives you like a nod. And then it's like, you're cool, bro. And so as we round out our night, I think we'll finish there. Unless anyone has anything else they'd like to accomplish tonight.
I think Bryn would like to go talk to Madar.
Yeah, sure. She's probably just about planning on going to bed at some point soon. But you can probably catch her, definitely.
I wanted to ask you a few questions.
Oh, of course.
Do you know if Kolo had any enemies?
Jaw slightly tenses at the mention of his name. Well, yes, he had quite a few, actually. He, well, he was a bit of an oaf, and didn't always think before he spoke. Made a lot of bad decisions. Why?
Someone cleaned up some people that were left at a bar that he liked to frequent, the Scum Weasel, or his men frequented.
I know the place.
Shithole, isn't it?
Not as nice as this place.
Well,
But, well, I know that area is fairly strong gang activity. So, I wouldn't be surprised if it was one of them trying to take the Scum Weasel for themselves.
makes sense. Is it an area frequented by the Black Cloaks?
The Black Cloaks? She kind of frowns.
You know the name?
No, but I do remember seeing a lot of people in black cloaks. Are they some sort of faction?
Seems they have a hit out on us. I think their leader's name's Riga.
Riga. That name I do know. Riga was a pseudonym, I think. Led some gang, but the rumor is that Riga is well, they're rather wealthy, but like to frequent the seedier areas of the town to facilitate their particular line of work.
Supposedly drugs and slaves.
That's all anyone sells in Ashara, it seems.
Well, apparently he wants us dead.
Well, I can't imagine that's an uncommon sentiment to have. You've certainly rustled a few feathers.
Certainly not. For a minute there, I thought you were going to say that you wanted me dead.
Of course not.
All right, well, thanks for letting me pick your brain about that.
She kind of gives you like a grin, like, is that really all you wanted to talk about type look? Of course.
We're gonna dance about this for weeks on end.
She like kind of leans closer and puts her elbows on the table. Did you have something better in mind?
I mean, I prefer to cut right to the chase.
Well, maybe you'll have to show me.
Well, perhaps you'd like to join me in my room?
Perhaps I would. She'll stand
I'll stand and grab her hand and lead her up to my room.
Imaginary sex score, bro.
Woo!
Wow, wow.
Meanwhile, Abrashmin is probably having a very similar conversation with Eli about Riga and the Black Cloaks. Does he know anything different? Less than?
He'll have seen the Black Cloaks a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and will have heard of Riga, but he'll have pretty much the same information.
Okay.
It's like Riga is very wealthy. No one really ever has seen Riga. But there's loads of rumors.
That it's a pseudonym for someone well known.
Potentially.
Okay. Potential.
And you did have to wake him up to ask him those questions.
Yeah, I was going to ask how. Yeah.
His like gorgeous hair is just everywhere, like all wrapped around his horns and like caught in the rings and stuff.
Yes, like while they're like talking, I kind of imagine that Abrashmina would be kind of like trying to straighten it and
Yeah,
comb it out with her fingers and stuff.
yeah, he'd be loving that like a cat. And so I think while everyone else is being all romantic, productive, or missing their dust friends, we can go ahead and end the session there.
Someone has to